be someone else's belief. And you are told belief, values shape you as you move along. Your journey matters, and what you do with it will matter beyond yourself. And I hope I'm not stealing more time here. When I was in class 6, I wrote the things I will want to do in my life and have them done. And I said, God help me. I have ticked all the boxes by God's grace, and yet I give more, you know. So when God says it is more of a blessing to give than to receive, because when you extend a hand of help, does it stay there? It comes back to you, isn't it? You return your hand. So I also want to encourage you, don't just think about yourself. Some of us, we've learned the art that as you solve other people's problems, yours get solved. So please get involved. Let even the first years know you are a good person who holds their hand even before you leave. The future of investment is being fundamentally reshaped. We are witnessing the rise of embedded finance, the growth of decentralized finance, and the increasing of profound shift in how money itself is defined. How many here trade in bitcoins? How many know what a bitcoin is? Huh? One person. But wa finance, munataka hii karatasi. We now have paper money, we have in different forms, but at the same time, over 85% of central banks globally are exploring digital currencies, signaling a profound shift in how money itself is defined. So we are entering an era of connected financial ecosystems, and where banks, fintechs, regulators, and technology firms are converging. And the same way, as you are told, I am sure Madam Lillian did just get enough time for you, even professions are merging. Yeah, finance and actuarial teams are now merging. Finance and HR, they do together. And I tell the accountants here, if you talk of IS 19, valuation of employee benefits, do you think you are going to do those benefits without talking to HR? You won't. Everybody, people are integrating. The people who have got the social skills are the best beneficiaries of the integrations that are taking place. In this world, the winners will not simply be those who adopt technology, but those who can understand data, build trust, navigate regulation, and create meaningful value. To the students here today, the careers you are preparing for will continue to evolve. Some roles will change, others will emerge. What will remain constant is the need for strong analytical thinking, ethical judgment, and continuous learning. So build competence beyond qualifications, anchor yourself in ethics, and commit to lifelong learning. Because in rapidly changing world, your degree may open the door, but your mindset will determine how far you go. Can I repeat that? Yes. The degree, we are in a changing world. Your degree may open the door, but your mindset will determine how far you go. So have a mind shift. As I conclude, allow me to leave you with a challenge. Do not merely prepare to participate in the future of finance, prepare to define the future of finance. Don't wait to participate, define it today. Build solutions that are not only profitable, but purposeful. Not only innovative, but responsible. Not only digital, but human. Today, what is in my mind, and I'm hoping God will help me finish it, I saw people die in our community, in the village, and I said, I've lived in Nairobi, I've invested in Nairobi, I am going to build a hospital, a community hospital that is giving back to my community. I said, before I retire, and many of you will see it in social media, I've done the structure already, it's going for roofing, and I'm going to use my finance skills to raise funds and help make sure SDG number 3, accessible healthcare, I bring it to myself. I can't leave it to the president alone, that every time hospitals are not working and everything. But I say use my little skill to give back to the community. And just as someone once opened a door for me, I challenge each of you not only to walk through doors, but to build those for others. On behalf of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya and what I truly firmly believe in KPMG, on the value of working together, the value of driving excellence, and being integral or being of high integrity, I would like to charge you not only to walk through those, but to build those for others. And on behalf of the Institute and KPMG, I reaffirm our commitment to supporting you through mentorship programs. You know, we run open programs for you. We are starting a foundation for the Institute as well that will develop accountants and finance professionals who are responsive to the market. Please keep watch out to those, and professional development and a regulatory environment that fosters both innovation and integrity. So together, let us shape a financial future that is inclusive, sustainable, and anchored in trust. And thank you very much for your journey. Thank you very much, and may your journey in finance be one of purpose, excellence, and lasting impact. And just in case you'd like to reach out to me.
Further on, but just a little bit about the CRB, specifically Metropole CRB. Number one, CRB is your friend. How many agree? Let me hear what you're saying. It keeps you on check. So it's a good accountability partner, according to her. Who else feels that CRB is the enemy? CRB inanipimia hewa, inafanya nishindwe kupata loan, si ndio? In a nutshell, because I want to be very brief, CRB is an institution that receives credit information from banks, microfinance banks, digital credit providers, SACCOs, trade institutions, among others. The key word is we receive. So, kama umechukua Fuliza, umechukua Mshwari, your information is sent to the bureau. When we are asking for a loan, remember something called TNCs? Sindio? Si mnasikizana? Na mnasema installment amount this much, every month, every week, as agreed. Sindio? And then you take your left hand or right hand, depending which is your dominant hand, and you put your what? Sindio? So where does the CRB come in becoming an enemy when you fail to pay as agreed, and the credit provider tells CRB, what's your good name? Helen. Say Helen took a loan, she has repaid 2 installments, she has stopped paying. What we give is what I would like to call a financial report card. Quickly, an example that brings this home. In school, all the performance of your subjects are sent to the class teacher, true? I don't know, the people who are being awarded certificates, they must have excelled at something, right? Let's call them A. They got an A in maths, another one got a D in English, CRE, and so forth. That performance is consolidated and sent to the class teacher. The class teacher gives you position in class and your overall grade, sindio? A, B, whatever, isn't it? So, who has ever gone to fight with their class teacher that I got a 40% in Kiswahili? Kuna mtu amewahi enda kupigana na class teacher ati nime score 60 in maths and I am material of 90%. Iko? Hakuna, sindio? Sasa CRB ni class teacher. So your performance at KCB, if you have a loan and you have scored a D, and they come and tell the CRB you have scored a D, and then at the SACCO you have scored an A, we take that, we give you what we call a credit score in our context. Are we together? So if you have a good credit score, it is because of your A and your B's, and mostly A's and B's. Are we together? If you have a poor credit score, just like in the classroom context, it's because you are scoring D's and E's. At one point I used to hear E's are called excellent. I don't know. Tuko pamoja? So very briefly, Sisi kama CRB ni rafiki, sisi ni class teacher. We give you your report and we do not edit or embellish. If you have a good credit score, just like the class teacher will say you are an A student, that is what we give. So what happens then? When you are seeking credit elsewhere, si hata ukitoka secondary school pia you look for a university, si ndio? Or if you are coming from primary school, kuna wale wanafikisha threshold ya Alliance, wengine wanafikisha threshold ya other schools, si ndio? So when a lender is assessing Helen has said, I want $500,000 and so forth. What do they look at? They ask for the report card. Just like the Alliance Secretariat will say, wacha tuone performance yake kule shuleni. So they will ping the bureau. We will give them Helen's credit report. And then they will determine what kind of relationship they want to have with you. Is it not 500, maybe 200, right? Or not entirely any credit, isn't it? Or some credit with some very stringent terms and conditions. Tuko pamoja? So as I wind up, because we'll interact later, the CRB, licensed and regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya, does not cause anyone not to get a loan. We provide your information to lenders who you have requested for a loan. CRB receives positive and negative. Remember, people, you had blacklisting, that people just imagine I'll only be in the CRB if I have defaulted. No, even the A students, isn't it? Right now, if I asked everybody, fuliza limit yako ni ngapi, na wewe, na wewe, na wewe. Kuna wengine wako na single digits, na wengine wako na double digits, ndio? Maybe my CEO has a limit of over 50,000 because he has very good credit behavior, ndio? Na kuna mwingine hata hajafikisha 5,000. Why? Because it is your patterns, ndio? You know, we say your reputation precedes you, ndio? I want to believe Metropole, our reputation is the one that came first to Kenya University, our reputation. Ikasema, these people are worthy to stand in front of our students. Tuko pamoja? Or are worthy to partner with, are worthy to come for such a forum. So just in credit, your good performance is the one that will open doors very easily for you. There are some people who right now, if they wanted KCB and M-Pesa, they get it immediately. There are others, you will struggle. So all of this, start early. You've already started. Kila mtu si amewahi chukua kafuliza ka Mshwari, Tala branch, Zenka. Show of hands. I'm not going to check your credit report. I won't. Mbona tuko na uoga? You don't double in credit. How many have taken? Show of hands? Yeah, that's okay. So that history starts already building a profile for you. And your previous performance is the one that will open doors going forward. Thank you very much. We'll get to interact later.
Situshaje CRB ni nini? Prepare your questions. We'll get to answer them in the next session. At this juncture,
systems remain stable and inclusive. Now, from the perspective of ISPAC, our responsibility is to ensure that as innovation accelerates, ethics, accountability, and public trust sponsored all CPA and everything. So I'm saying this story because don't sit somewhere and say, I have no one to help me. No, God is there. And do what you can do the best way and move forward. Help is just around the corner. Are you together? Are we together? Yes.
Money from nothing. They have a printer, they can just print. True or false? How many of us think it is wrong what I've said? That central banks cannot print. So everybody agrees. Central banks print money from nothing. But they are cautious because what happens if everybody in this room is given today 1 million? What will happen? What will be the cost of bread outside? Huh? Do we know what happened in Zimbabwe around 2008? They had a note for 150 trillion. So central banks are cautious. They don't print too much. Now we have another entity that prints money. and they're called commercial banks. And this is a cheat sheet I want to tell you. Commercial banks or banking, commercial banking globally operates something called fractional reserve banking. Fractional reserve means when you go to the bank and you deposit 100 shillings, let's assume it's the first day Kenya has the first bank, and the first depositor goes with 100 and deposits 100. How much money will be in that bank in the evening? 100, right? I assume day 2, another person B walks in and tries to borrow money. How much money do you think that bank will be able to give that person? Yes? 90 shillings, correct. So now I'm teaching what you already know, and so forth. So at the end in the evening of that day 2, how much money will be in that bank? Assuming nobody has withdrawn anything yet. They have borrowed, but ameenda nyumbani amesmile. Now he can go and look for whatever he wants to buy. How much money will be in the bank the next day? How much? 190, okay. And then day 3, another person goes and says, I want to import money, I want to import an equipment from China. Please, I need a loan. How much money do you think the bank can give that person? Yes? Around 180. So what will be the total money in day 3? 100 plus 90 plus 80. Now, the truth about the market is that the amount of money in cash is very little. A lot of money is created through credit by commercial banks. Now, so what happens if you don't know how to leverage credit? What happens if you lock yourself out of the credit market as a finance professional and you want to start a business? Bernard says some of you would want to build a financial technology platform for Africa. It will take you ages to save the money to be able to do that. To be able to do it faster, what do you need? Credit. So if you lock yourself out of the credit, what happens? You will not have gone through KU and learned finance. You will not be a finance professional. If you will fail to access capital that is created through credit. So that's a very important point. I have finished on finance. Now let me go to labor market. I want to just mention 4 significant announcements in the past 2 weeks. There was announcements by, actually 3 weeks, MPC. We know CBK is MPC, Monetary Policy Committee. Who knows what they announced? That they're retaining the policy rate, even with the incoming inflation. And they are saying the economy is doing very well. Why is the economy doing very well? It goes back to what I said earlier, factors of production. The reward on factors of production, capital is getting a lot of reward, but that at micro level, some people are saying hakuna pesa. But at the economy level, they are reporting 5%. We know what is GDP. They are reporting 5% GDP. Do you think it's a false number or a true number? How many of us think what KNBS is reporting as GDP is wrong? Nani anasema hii economy is not doing very well, it's not doing 5%. How many of us? Yes, anasema is not doing well. But the reality in the numbers, because GDP is calculated using 3 methodologies. How many of us know how you calculate GDP? There's expenditure approach. Okay? There's an income approach. And then there's a production approach. All of them give the same number. The problem is, these figures, when you allocate those incomes and you give the returns, they go more to which side? Capital or labor? They go to which side more? Capital. So we are together there. So MPC, keeping the rate, the economy, according to macros, is doing well. Number 2, there was another announcement by KUTV. Who knows what KUTV advocates for? Do you know what's KUTV? Central Union of Trade Unions. So all trade unions, who are in trade unions? Is it capital or labor? Labor. What are they asking for on 1st of May, this Friday? They are saying they want minimum 23% salary increments for those people who are living on the statutory minimum. 2 days later, another group issued a press conference warning. They're called FKE. FKE, who knows FKE? Federation of employers. Who does it represent? Capital or labor? Capital or labor? FKE represents labor. Who owns companies? Labor or capital? So the capital owners have issued a press conference. So I want us to see things separately. Central Bank is saying the economy is doing well. They have kept money supply. They have a policy. They are the institution responsible for managing the currency, money supply. They have said we are doing well. We are not changing rate. The economy is steady. But there are two people here fighting. FKE, which is when you buy shares in a company, in Safaricom, where are you supposed to sit? On the employee side or on the FKE side? On the FKE side. Are we together? I had somebody here, if they got some money, his first salary ataweka kwa shares. So you will shift, you will become loyal. So let me just by a show of hands, who supports KUTV? That we need to increase minimum 23%. Only few. Who supports FKE? That they want government not to increase salaries for workers. Who supports? FKE. Yeah. And the rest? Okay? Okay? So this is an important revelation for you. That where we are headed, the competition between labor and finance, capital is going to get stiff. And therefore you have to choose the side. And how do you choose the side? You are the finance professional. You have the right advantage. You have the skills. Please ensure that you choose the right of leveraging your skills to move towards more capital, managing capital. Even at personal level, secure your capital so that capital can work for you. Let the money work for you. Don't rush into consumption. If you are running enterprises, please secure cash for your organization, secure working capital. Because almost all, it said 85% of mortalities of businesses is not because of the concept, it's not because of the product, the domain knowledge. It's not because the engineer who is running that business does not know how to fabricate the thing. The issue is working capital. Businesses die because of working capital. They die because of finance. They are unable to manage finance, and finance is where we have a lot of productivity boosting, efficiencies. You buy technology with money. You introduce AI with money. So again, the real problem that we face in the market today is that some people, from a game theory perspective, know how to play the game very well. Now, if you are playing like football, umeenda America, umeona kiwanja imeandikwa football, you play. For you, it's just kicking the ball. But these people can kick, can throw, can jump. Will you win against them? No. So you have to understand the rules of the game, the rules of engagement. And those rules of engagement today are shifting. One is that there's a lot of automation. Who does automation eat from? Capital or labor? Labor. Automation reduces number of workers. If we set up CCTVs in KU, there's a very high chance we will not need a lot of security guards. If we set up biometrics and time and attendance, there's a very high, a lot of admin staff will go. If you set up AI agents, and this is a new wave, we are talking about 18 months, at Metropole, we are onboarding AI agents. We have an AI strategy to say every worker will now use AI. Now, once you have AI, it means a marketing department with 20 people, now you will only need 1 or 2 people. It means a finance department with 20 people will now need only 1 person. It means HR, in terms of long listing, short listing, where you have 20 people, you will only need 2 people, and so forth. Once you have AI simplifying work and doing work for you, who suffers? Labor or capital? Who benefits? So we will now start saying the economy has grown by 10%, but on the other side, people don't have money, because the people who will benefit from that growth are who? The owners of capital. Now, finally, I was asked to talk about fintech. There are 5 major developments on the fintech regulatory space. There is the Virtual Assets Service Providers Act. How many of us, we said crypto But then now, governments are adopting virtual assets that are linked to their currencies, because governments have to control. There are things governments are established to do. Nation state, from the first time they were established in the days of I think, is it Roman Empire or is it French Revolution? The nation state, if you are a president or if you are a government or if you are a king, you need only two things. You need to control money and what else? Violence, war. There are two things you need to control. Vitu ngapi? Mbili. Now, virtual assets, securitization is governments cannot give up the role of controlling money, because money sits on trust. And an economy will collapse. If a country fights another one, the best way to fight it is to mess up their country so that people can go on streets and overthrow that government. So governments want to control that. So there's a Virtual Assets Providers Act. Please check on it. There's DCP's regulation. This is fintechs who are using technology to disburse credit or even to mobilize. Around that, there's been a lot of regulations around the Banking Act. Today, we are pushing at CRB changes in the CRB regulations. KBA, I don't know if there's someone from KBA, they're pushing for repeal of a Section 44 in the Banking Act, which still allows Treasury to set, you need Treasury approval to increase interest rates. And yet, today, CBK is, after 2010 Constitution, CBK is autonomous. So there's regulations there that you need as professionals to familiarize yourself with. Again, data protection. Data Protection Act is a very important legislation, and we expect some AI legislations to come. Data protection is important because every digital or financial transaction generates data, and some of that data is private data that needs to be secured. So there are risks there. National payment services. So the M-Pesas of this world, the visas of this world, legislation around that, very important for you finance professionals to analyze, because they give you opportunity to innovate. You are the people to innovate. And then anti-money laundering. So there are controls around use of financial system to perpetuate crime, to clean up money. So those are areas that from a financial fintech space you have to look at. Now, what are the driving frameworks around legislations? We all know governments have a social contracts. We surrender our power to government. Now, if we only allow entrepreneurs and businesses to trade with us without supervision, they can mess us up. So there are issues around consumer protection. So overarching basis for regulations has always been consumer protection. Number two is safeguarding financial system. The financial system, as I said, over 90% of the money that is flowing is non-existent. If you deposited 10 million in your bank account, that money does not actually exist. If there is something called a run on a bank, the only amount you will get is 250,000, or what the KDIC safeguards. So a lot of the financial system is us trusting each other. So overarching basis for regulation is consumer protection against predatory revenue maximizers, profit maximizers, which is what most entrepreneurs would do. Most entrepreneurs, including yourself, if you had an opportunity, you will maximize. So government comes in to make sure that you don't maximize. Number two is financial system, which relies on trust. So that's a fundamental basis for why we need regulations. Because if we mess up, the whole thing will collapse. Lastly is sovereignty. So those are the things that governments are trying to do in terms of regulation. So in terms of the future of work, or your future as a worker, your future careers, what are the top things you need to think about? Number one is you have to figure out what industries have the highest potential to make you money, because money is currency for life. It's almost like currency for life. You can buy comfort with money. Some people say, I've seen a lot of memes that somebody kneeling down and telling money that I'm sorry if I'm the one who said money cannot make you happy. Saying I am sorry, I did not mean it. Because without money, you cannot move. Without money, you can't go to hospital, you can't clothe. So choose to follow pathways, career pathways, industries that have potential to make money. If you want us to advise you on that, you talk to the team that have come. Because we have data at CRB. We have data based on credit performance. One of the signals of an industry that is not performing is when you aggregate the data, you can see players in that industry, are they able to pay their loans? If they're not able to pay their loans as aggregate, it means they have an income problem. Huh? So if you come to the Bureau, we can tell you what are the NPL rates for loans given to real estate, for loans given to agri, for loans given, and most people don't go outside 2 standard deviations of their peers, of their industry performance. I think there's a guy called Michael Porter who did a lot of industry analysis way back. Now, if you look at industry performance, it's a very important thing. So as you choose what to do, kwanza angalia industry, naenda kufanya kazi. Hii iko na potential industry at a career level. That's a cheat sheet I'm giving you. Are we together? How many of us will go to extractive industries like mining or agri? How many of us will go to industries like manufacturing, kutengeneza maji? How many of us will go to logistics like transport? How many of us want to do financial sector services? At least I've converted some people. Yeah, so now please learn how to use AI. AI is like electricity. You resist it at your own peril. AI, when electricity started, some people were resisting it. Wanasema mimi nitaendelea kutumia kuni, I'll continue using coal. AI is like electricity. You just have to figure out what tool you need. Kama unataka kupiga pasi nguo, unaweza tumia electricity. Kama unataka kucheza music, electricity. Kama unataka kupiga picha, electricity. If you want to travel, electricity. So it has a lot of use cases. Please start adopting AI in your day-to-day work. So if you don't remember anything from what I have said, remember that focus on building capital, focus not on fighting capital, but figuring out how to leverage capital for your own productivity.
So the class teacher caned everybody and say, how can this person come and have been teaching and he beats you? And it was chaotic. I asked, now what is this happening? And the funny bit in a mixed school.
Wise words he has given to us. Ndio, haya factory zetu turembeshe, weka moto, weka power. Nani hana power? Sasa tafute power. Haya, tafuta power, shika. Before you go, FCPA, first we want to award you. Interact with our guest, Bwana. Yeah. Let's appreciate them.
I think what is really working out for the young people or the university students is the fact that they're already digitally savvy. So what is remaining is such a small part that if universities can come together with the industry, then that gap will not be there. They already have what it takes. What needs to be done is just a bit of nurturing, and we'll be able to build a very strong nation. Because digital, the fact that they're able to interact with technology at a very tender age, then what is remaining is just the industry expectation coming together. And that's why people like us now, the HR practitioners, the employers, we need to reach out to the institutions of higher learning. So one thing that will stand out is it's not your grades, it's not what you've learned in school, it is also what you've become. So the art of becoming is also equally important. So HR practitioners, the employers, what they're looking for is somebody who is holistic from the social, how do they interact, how do they connect with people, do you have the interpersonal skills, do you have what it takes in terms of coming together, working together with your peers. And this particular skill is something that can be nurtured, and you can't nurture it as a university alone. That's why these two parties, the university and the industry must come together. Academia must open their world, they must open their doors. Industry must also open their doors. The employers, the organizations must also open their doors so that you are able to speak from the same page. Right now, I think we are waiting for the universities to do their part. Universities are also waiting for the organizations to do their part, and therefore we end up having this gap that will never be addressed. So the only way to address it is academia and the industry to work together. Gen Zs, I think naturally they're aggressive. And just besides being aggressive, there's the issue of them being more prepared in terms of, like I've talked about the digital skills. That works for them. So they come in and they're ready to take off. These are people who a job that will take 4 hours will literally take 1 hour or even less than that. So that gives them an upper edge. The only thing that maybe they need to polish on, like I've said before, is more of now, how do they integrate with the current workforce? Because you look at the workforce that is there, we have different or rather multi-generational gaps, whereby we have the baby boomers, we have the traditionalists, we have the Gen Y, the Gen X, and everybody included. So how do we get also to prepare the Gen Z to work with everybody else? Because right now we are preparing the people to work with Gen Z, but are we also preparing Gen Zs to work with everyone else in the workforce? How can a Gen Z relate with a baby boomer? How can a Gen Z work with Gen X and Gen Y? So that is the missing link that I think in academia and the industry at large, the organizations must address together.
A very, very good session. Yeah, my name is FCPA Bernard Amuka. I'm a vice chairman of ISPAC, and I also represent, I'm a partner at KPMG in East Africa. So today, I'm very privileged to have joined the young people at the Kenyatta University finance students in their association today as they have the 4th conference. This 4th conference on demystifying the world of finance is really a very, very good session for us because it brings the minds of young people together with those who have been in practice to really show them what happens out there. So we know the world is being disrupted. Technology is here with us, and everything is, people don't know what it's going to look like tomorrow. But what has come out today is how we can have the young professionals get to know what is more important outside there. For example, what we've learned today, everybody passes their exams. They come out with first class, they come out with upper second, whether it's lower, whether it's a pass. But what organizations are looking for is the right attitude, the character, that will take you to the next level. Because when you get into the job market, your technical skills is already a given. There is a set criteria for what you get into with the market. But now what will propel you is how your attitude is, being able to learn quickly, being able to respond, being able to build your networks, being able to build your relationships with the people that you work with, both at all levels. Not only being a boss, but being able to work with people at your level, being able to know what is required you in the next level, and being able to prepare yourself. And that is the situation for learning. So that calls for being a professional, building up on your character, and building the soft skills, being able to work with people in a more coherent way. And what I've personally experienced, that really helps you to learn from others and drive the excellence that is required with you. Just like they say out there, people buy from those they like, and they buy more from people they like more. So as you network, as you build your social skills, you are able to navigate the challenges that happen in the environment. And I think that is what the key lesson that we've taken out today, that as young professionals, be there. And also more important, be part of shaping the future. Because as a young person, the finance field, I'm a finance person, I'm an accountant, it is changing drastically. So finance, as we release the students to the market, they must know areas of change and be part of that change. That is what is going to drive the next profession. We've talked about how, as finance professionals out there, artificial intelligence, things like blockchains are shaping the way finance is run. You can no longer just go now into finance as a debit and credit or just doing the simple finance roles. But that role has changed significantly, and that's the conversation today that we were shaping, in addition to the fintech space that we learned a lot more. Definitely. It's not corruption, and I think this is what people get wrong. I can tell you, you can corrupt your way into an interview, but if you do not have the right attitude and the social skills, it will show. And that's why you see, I'm glad you've asked that question, because many people give money in bribes or corruption, but they end up not getting those jobs. And that's where the dilemma is, because no employer is going to pick someone with the wrong attitude or with no social skills just because you corrupted your way into it. And that statement is for both public and even private entities.
For us at Metropole, because we have a CSR project around financial literacy and we have Jenga Future. When we come to the university like this, we are investing in the future generation. And meeting with the Finance Society of the university, where we are discussing with people who are being trained on how to manage money going forward, and how to look at how money has been spent going back. That is accounting and finance. It's important that we bring our real world industry knowledge and insights to them. So our conversations today was around how they can build careers in this profession of finance and accounting, and how they can really get to know the emerging issues in this space. And some of the emerging issues are the regulatory issues around fintech and leveraging technology to do finance. So there are a lot of regulations there. Virtual assets regulations, there are digital lending regulations, there are payment services regulations, there are anti-money laundering and the protection of the financial ecosystem. And those regulations are important for them because it enables them to see opportunity. As professionals, what is it that you need to do in terms of career choice? So career choice around data governance in that space, career choice around investment and so forth. So that's the reason we've been here today, and we are excited that as Metropole, one of the cornerstones of the financial sector is credit ecosystem, credit sharing, credit systems in general, and our students and the general public need to know that keeping your word is important in the credit market. Having a good credit score reflects how you have been keeping your promise to your creditors, to the people you take money. And if you don't keep that promise, you hurt your credit score and you hurt your chances. Even at this early age as you come into the market, if you lose it now, it's very hard to repair. We are in a risk-based pricing interest rate regime. So if you don't have a good credit score, other than possibly suffering access, you'll not be able to access. You'll also now, even if you access, slightly pay more in interest rates. So it's important to have that knowledge in advance so that you deal with it yourself and know that you don't borrow for luxury, you borrow to create value that you take to the market. Yes, so labor and your skills are a product you bring to the market. So you bring yourself to the market. And when you come to the market, you need to be paid. Now, there are places where when you sell your time, when you sell your skill, you are paid less. And there are places where when you sell your time, you sell your skill, you are paid more. Now, is it possible to know which places actually pay more, which places pay less? The answer is yes, because you are paid based on how you impact income in that market. So if you're working in a sector that has very lower income potential, if you're working in a company that out of its processes, out of its production, they are producing products and services that are paid less in the market, there's a very high chance you will be paid less. If you're working in a space, in a service, in a sector that for little time, for little effort, that company makes more money, has more income, it means even you as a professional working in that space, you will get more money. That is the essence. Now you need to look at it from sector and industry as a first criteria. Where do you want to work and where will you make money? And then now you align yourself around your skills, your competencies to be able to pursue competitive advantage and comparative advantage based on yourself as a person, as a labor unit coming to the market. Because you will be priced based on the market's invisible hand, which is the market's rules. of demand and supply. This data is available, credit performance per sector, per industry. That's data that's available.
And maybe are you able to touch around the areas of collaboration with Kenyatta?
Yes, so today, other than sitting here, we've had a meeting with the management of Kenyatta University, and we have potentially agreed to work towards signing an MOU where we have 4 areas of partnership. The first area of partnership is collaborations around research. One of the outputs that comes from university is not just skilled workers, it's not just the students graduating, but knowledge and theories. So we would like to partner with KU so that they can use the data that is available at Metropole. Metropole has the largest data to analyze the market, to analyze borrower behavior, to analyze a lot of the economic theories that needs to be justified or validated or developed, and therefore support the market with insights. So we would want to work a partnership around data partnership. Number 2 is on their students. We would like to partner with them to provide support to their students through financial literacy programs. We want to work with them to give internship opportunities, on-the-job training opportunities for their students, and that collaboration will see us work closely around what kind of programs we will need them to develop to support the credit sector, for instance. We are doing a lot of credit skills training as an organization, but can we collaborate to make sure that knowledge is available for lenders to have the best people in the credit departments, in the credit divisions, in risk departments. So around the curriculum, we can support them in enhancing their curriculums as well as give opportunities to their products and students. Thirdly, is we are partnering through a project we are calling entrepreneurship, where we will support innovation and entrepreneurship through their Chandaria Center to see whether we can partner around providing them with some technology tools, scoring expertise, so that entrepreneurs who come to do boot camp there, to do a POC on their project, we can support at that point as well.
What's the tenure?
We are at the process of initiating, so we are not yet at the point where we are saying it's going to be 1 year or 5 years, but we would like to do a project or a contract that serves the right cycle of time, so probably a 5-year MOU.
I'm the president of the Finance Society of Kenyatta University, that is housed under the School of Business, Economics and Tourism here in Kenyatta University. And today we are having our 4th National Finance Summit themed FinTech and the Future of Investments, where we are talking about navigating regulations and building sustainable careers. Now, why is this important for students to attend? We've critically analyzed the theme and suited it for who we are, the next generation of employees. And why we are saying this is because we want to bridge with the digital landscape transforming and changing, disrupting things. We are sure that when we have seminars like this and invite industry professionals, we'll align ourselves and the theories that we learn in class with what that is out there. You speak in with the industry trends, know what is happening, don't be outdated, and most that is generally being relevant to where we are, especially now in finance. What are the industry trends that are happening? What are disrupting natures that are happening in the financial services, so that you can be marketable once you step out there. So to our sponsors, today we have Metropole Credit Reference Bureau. Thank you so much for being with us as you continue to advance the knowledge about your credit scores, and also the initiative for Jenga Future initiative, which is great, and thank you for having us on board, and we hope that students will take up that opportunity as we plan for our future. Yes. So the benefit for attending such a summit is that we connect you to industry professionals. Like today we had the Director HR at DTB. We also had partner KPMG and the Vice Chair FCPA Amuka, as they continue to enable us to understand what really does the market have. So I call upon all students not only to just be attending summit, but to join also the Finance Society of Kenyatta University. And as a student-led organization, we ensure that our mission and goals are met, and this is done by advocating for financial literacy. Now, I've mentioned that you're having CRB Metropole here, and I believe majority of us are benefits of health, but we don't know where our data is being taken to. So with CRB in check and in ground, they enable us to understand more about where our data is going, and also the investments that we are doing right now, the loans that we are taking right now, how are they affecting or benefiting our future, and how can we streamline them in ways that will not be negative in terms of our future. So join us we are here, so I call upon each and every student in Kenyatta University. It doesn't mean you are in finance or accounting. As long as you are a student in Kenyatta University, join us and we'll be glad to continue demystifying the world of finance, as we say.
I'm CPS Dr. Frederick Warwe Waweru, the chairperson, Department of Accounting and Finance, Kenyatta University. In Kenyatta University, we have made a deliberate effort to collaborate with professionals, with the industry, with the corporate world, so that our students can be all round, so that they don't just study theory, they are also engaged in the practicability of what they are actually learning. Today, we are privileged to have the Finance Society of Kenyatta University holding their 4th summit, and we had a collaboration with the DT Bank, which was represented by the HR, Madam Lilian, who engaged the students in the practicability of life and also working environment. Then we had another collaborator, Metropol, and represented by Gideon, and it was actually very of much impact to the students, in that he highlighted on the importance of our students having the hands-on skills that will make them have a competitive edge in the market. We had another collaborator from KPMG, FCPA, Amoka, who also elaborated the need of practicability of our students, the theory they are learning, to practicalize it in the audit world. And this is what we are actually envisaging, that our students, when they come out of the university, they will be all round, and they are actually increasing their employability and opportunities. So we are glad that this happened today, and we are actually continuing to do it because learning is a continuous process. Thank you.
Have you received the token?
Including Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science, Masters, and internationally. He has spent nearly a decade in credit information sharing.
For joining us in the 4th National Finance Summit. Receive your token from the patron, and from this will be our child. Oh, very nice. Next is the universities. Thank you so much, cameraman. Iko sawa. Iko sawa. The universities. Ni wakati wa kusema ngwashe, wakati wa kupanua. Smiles for this great day. Cameraman ukiwa tayari unaniambia. Glad that they came today, and we sincerely appreciate them for joining us in this 4th National Summit. And with that, I would like to welcome one of the representatives, DJ Pose, DJ Aziz.
Biashara, and what is shaping the world of business.
Miti miti. Panda panda. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
Get ready to embark on a journey into the exciting world of technology as we uncover the latest trends, interview top thought leaders, and dive deep into the world of tech like never before.
Currently, we are facing the challenge in terms of finance. It requires one to move from different counties because we really need a large data set for our model to be more accurate.
In this new and exciting series of the Technovation Show, join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Monday, 8:30 p.m. for a fun and thrilling experience as we explore the cutting-edge developments, meet visionaries driving change.
Somebody who is in the underground mine doesn't know the presence of those gases. So there are a lot of gases involved. There is methane, there's carbon monoxide, and there's also hydrogen sulfide. These gases actually, they are very dangerous and they're very toxic.
And discover the endless possibilities of the tech world. Imagine a world where you are empowered to take charge of your health, where you are well informed about the latest advancements in healthcare and understand the policies that impact your well-being. Get ready to take charge. These news at 9, where your health is our priority.
Once again, a very good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us this morning right here on Kenyatta University Television. Rise today, specifically Biashara Tuesday. It is a Tuesday, so we are about to keep you informed on everything business, whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you're starting up. It's time for us to be informing you on how to become a better entrepreneur. Now, this morning, if you hear someone tell you, with all due respect, it all trickles down to one man known as George Matete, the man who made a fool of our CS yesterday, saying that an agreement has not been arrived at. That is the man of the day who is really trending on our social media platforms this morning with the phrase, with all due respect. So if you see someone send you a caricature of that man, George Matete, just know that you might be lying somewhere and they don't agree with your lies. So with all due respect is what is currently trending in the country. Talking of that, in the country right now, we are having a crisis or a shutdown in relation to fuel protest, that is with the matatus parking their vehicles in protest of the fuel prices in the country. That is something that we shall be talking more of it as we get into the bulletin. But today, being a Tuesday, we'll be having a conversation on mental health, that is on psychology, especially with the young people, how they manage pressure in classes, pressure with the being youths, pressure with all our politicians talking about, the youths are the future generations, the pressure that comes with being youths being used as goons and all that, the pressure that comes from home And this will also touch on cases of femicide that we've seen in the country, because it's also affecting the young people. So it's a conversation that is based on the psychology of the young person, how they manage that in classes and all that and everything in between. So we shall be having that conversation, also touching on trauma and how we can overcome that as young people. And you know, if you're not in a good state of mind, that means you can never have a successful business or a successful project or anything successful that entails money, because that is, as psychologists say, or as people who are into, theory say, that money is energy. Without the good energy yourself, it's not easy to channel that energy to yourself. So helping us understand that discussion will be Mordecai Job Nyasani will be joining us later on for a discussion on mental health and more into that. And also we'll be having a conversation on the state of the nation, and this will take interest on our dailies and of course what is currently ongoing in the country, matters education, matters fuel, geopolitics and everything in between, and helping us understand that or talk more about that are not new faces to you, or if you're a new person, that will be Bobby Odhiambo, who is a student right here at Kenyatta University, and also our very own Ojwang Mariam, who is the incoming member of County Assembly, that is Kawa West constituency. They'll be helping us take a deeper look at the newspapers this morning. Talking of newspapers, we have several with us this morning. Just to take a look at the different headlines that we're having, I'll go through them very quickly. To begin with the Financial Standard this morning, they're talking of subsidy gamble that risks reviving fuel adulteration. That is a matter of kerosene prices being very low compared to diesel and petrol prices. And what they're talking of is some people may be tempted to use kerosene and dilute the expensive, to use the cheap kerosene to dilute the expensive diesel. Which will later on lead to, failure of engines and all that. So that is what the Financial Standard have given prominence this morning. Moving on to a different newspaper, we have the Business Daily. They're talking of eyes on Ruto over fuel taxes as businesses count losses. And remember that the president is currently out of the country, despite the fact that a crisis meeting should be held. Our deputy president said we should be waiting for the president to get back for that crisis meeting to be held. So eyes are now on the president as that intensifies. And we also have a different story talking of court freezes Vodacom's 244.5 billion payment for Safaricom's tech. So that is a question on how investor confidence may be compromised with regards to the sale of Safaricom's stake. That is on the Business Daily. Moving forward to the People Daily. The People Daily are talking of fuel crisis, deaths, chaos amid state inaction. This is still the story in relation to the rise in fuel prices and the protest that is related to that. And also they're talking of opposition faces growing pressure as Ruto tightens election grip, and also how Kenya's leaders feast while citizens starve. Those are stories that are given prominence on the People Daily. Moving forward to Taifa Leo. Taifa Leo are talking of nchi ya kwama. This is still in relation to yesterday's protest, which is currently ongoing, and this is in relation to empty streets in Nairobi and different cities across the country. And another story katika gazeti la Taifa Leo wanasema kwamba aliyechomwa kwa tattoo ya Rais Ruto afariki dunia. Vilevile wanazungumzia Joe ataka mkataba na Ruto kumpigia debe kura za mwaka 2027. Pia wanasema kwamba Waiguru akana kuomba Gachagua msamaha. Those are stories that are given prominence on the Taifa la Leo magazine. Moving forward to the Star. They're talking of 400 modern markets spring up to show up small businesses. They're being a little economic this morning on the Star. And another story is Professor Boga's journeys from coconut farms to Africa's agricultural powerhouse. Also, another story is relation to the Treasury. 1 trillion bailout mess exposes state farms' hidden debt crisis. That is on matters economics. On matters politics, they're talking of Kalonzo in secret Sifuna talks to land opposition ticket, and also court overstepped in 73 million land dispute, judge rules. That is on the Star. And MyGov, which is a pullout on the Star. They're talking of premium tea exports set to rise after Kenya-France agreement. That is on matters business right there on MyGov. You can also follow on that story, more on that on page 2 of MyGov newspaper, which is a pullout on the Star. And across our nation, in Tanzania, gazeti la Nipashe wanasema kwamba vifo tata kila kona nchini. That is also a similar story that we've been witnessing in the country, where different people are seeing dead in unexplained circumstances. That is in Tanzania, gazeti la Nipashe. Gazeti la Mwananchi wanasema kwamba tume yenye shaka, matumaini mapya. Pia wanazungumzia tishio la Ebola. Wanasema kwamba Ebola tishio, serikali yajipanga. That is on gazeti la Mwananchi. Moving forward, still on Tanzania, on the Citizen, they are talking of October 29th, Samia picks team to investigate criminality. That is in Tanzania. And in Uganda, on the Daily Monitor, they are talking of the mighty fall. And they are saying that 5 sacks of money recovered from among home detectives. How UK-US sanctions knocked door open into amongst closet. Did Anita among sense danger? That story, you can follow it up on it's given quite a number of pages, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. That is given prominence across our borders, that is in Uganda and Tanzania. Those are the newspapers that you're having this morning. Right now, I want us to take a look at what is happening on the roads and, of course, the weather situation in different cities, different parts of the country. All right, it is exactly 11 minutes past 8 a.m. and I'm looking at roads in Nairobi, or tributaries leading to Nairobi Central Business District. And this is very unusual from what you're always seeing as far as traffic is concerned. Looking at all roads leading to Nairobi Central Business District, there is zero traffic. All roads leading to Nairobi Central Business District, zero traffic. And the places where I'm seeing patches of red are areas around Nairobi Hospital. That is around Mbagathi Road. And the roundabout, or that is around Daystar University. Probably that is the only place I'm seeing traffic. And also the junction of Ring Road, Kilimani, and Ngong Road. Those are the only places in Nairobi that I'm seeing traffic. So it's the roundabout around Daystar University, the junction that is where Ngong Road meets Ring Road, Kilimani. Those are the only places that I'm seeing traffic in Nairobi this morning. So all the other tributaries leading to Nairobi Central Business District are free of traffic. And of course, I'm saying that because you can only use them if you are using Futsubishi or you're having your own vehicle. Otherwise, all the matatus are packed because of the strike that is currently ongoing in the country. Taking a look now at what the weatherman says as of traffic situation, not as traffic, as of the weather outlook for the next 7 days. That is from the 19th to the 25th of May 2026. In terms of rainfall outlook, cumulative rainfall above 50 millimeters is expected during the forecast period in highlands east of the Rift Valley, over several places in Kiambu, Nairobi, Murang'a, Nyeri, and Nyandarua counties, including areas around the borders of Embu, Meru, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, and Tharaka Nithi counties. The rainfall are also expected highlands west of the Rift Valley, over several places in Bomet, Kisii, Nyamira, Narok, Migori, Kericho, Nandi, and Kakamega counties, and parts of Kisumu, Siaya, Vihiga, Busia, and Bungoma counties. And in terms of most parts of the northeastern, South Lowlands, and the northwestern Kenya are expected to experience daytime sunny intervals and nighttime partly cloudy conditions during the forecast period, and the coastal region is expected to receive occasional showers in a few places. In terms of temperature outlook, minimum temperatures are expected to be lower than normal in most parts of the highlands east and west of the Rift Valley, including Nyandarua, Kiambu, Nakuru, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Nairobi, Nandi, Kericho, Eldoret, Trans Nzoia, Narok, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Laikipia counties. Temperatures less than 10 degrees Celsius or equal to 10 degrees Celsius are expected over parts of Nyandarua, Nyahururu during the forecast period. And in terms of maximum temperatures, which are expected to be above normal in most parts of the northeastern, northwestern, and the coast, and the parts of southern lowlands, with temperatures exceeding 35 degrees Celsius expected over parts of Mandera, Turkana, Lodwar, Wajir, and Garissa counties. In terms of impact on health, flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas are of high risk. An increased risk of mosquito-borne diseases including malaria, Rift Valley fever, and chikungunya due to stagnant water. Increased risk of waterborne diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, and typhoid, and also possible disruption of access to essential health services in flood-prone areas also expected. Increased risk of drowning, lightning incidents, and destruction of property also expected over these areas. And also you should also note that with this, respiratory illness including common cold, pneumonia, flu, bronchitis, influenza, and asthma in colder areas can also be expected in those areas. So those are part of the risk that are outlined by the Kenya Met Department. You can also check more on the same according to advisory that they have given on their website, their WhatsApp pages, their Twitter handles or X handles. You can always follow up more on what the updates they're giving. That is on the weather and, of course, the traffic update. All right, it's time to get you informed on what is shaping the news. This is the news update as of this morning. To set us off, public transport was yesterday brought to a halt following a nationwide protest by matatu operators over increased fuel prices. Police engaged protesters into running battles throughout the day after angry protesters blocked major roads leading to Nairobi's Central Business District, forcing police to disperse the protesters using tear gas. A number of Kenyans have lost their lives in the protest while scores continue to nurse injuries.
Ukitafuta mteja ukimuuliza kupandishia 200 akwambia mwenyewe mshahara wangu huko nilikoajiriwa mwenyewe hata natamani hata nifutwe leo. Maana mshahara uko chini na akatoa expenses kibao na hata mwenyewe hata kukupatia natamani kukupatia hata 40. Hasa tuwashindwa sasa tukibeba 40 ukiendapo kwa mafuta kwenyewe ambao ni 240. Sisi tuishi vipi? Hebu jamani, hii serikali tuangalie hii jambo la mafuta bana. Kwa bodaboda bana kwa tubeba mpaka Mombasa kwa tubeba leo kama 1000, lakini kwa sasa hii tabiri kama 2000 ama 1500 kwa amna. Sasa hakuna hebu watu wote wamesimama. Hakuna mteja hata mmoja ambaye yuenda. Hakuna. Wewe ukijaribu mtu 1500 yokuambia hiyo 1500 ndio savings yake iko nayo. Yataka aende atakupatia 1500 atarudi na nini?
Mwito wetu ni kwamba mafuta ashuke, rais atusikize pia. Mafuta kwa juu sana bro.
Now, leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza coalition, together with a section of ODM politicians, have intensified efforts to defend President William Ruto's administration against mounting criticism over the rising fuel prices and high cost of living in the country. Speaking during a church fundraiser in Chonyi, Kilifi County, the leaders accused the opposition of politicizing the fuel crisis for political gain. They linked the increase in fuel prices to the ongoing conflict between the United States and Iran, saying the situation has affected global oil markets.
Tuombee kwana na tuombee ulimwengu kwamba maneno ya mafuta, maneno ya vita iweze kupungua, ndio mafuta karama iweze kwenda chini. Hiyo ndio maombi ya Wakristo. Wale wote ambaye wanachochea wa Kenya kupitia maandamano na kupigana, Ukristo unakataa hiyo mambo.
Kwa sababu nimeona wengine wanachukua video ya zamani ya William Samoei Ruto akizungumza na akisema ya kwa njia ya kupunguza bei ya mafuta ni lazima tupunguze ushuru. Sasa mimi najiuliza, wakati mnatoa na video hiyo, kwa nini hamutoi ile video akiweka sahihi ya kwa aliweza kupunguza ushuru wakati mafuta yalikuwa?
Now, opposition leaders led by Fred Matiang'i and Kalonzo Musyoka have criticized the government over what they describe as poor leadership following the rise in fuel prices, a situation that has sparked protest and mixed reactions across the country. Leaders allied to the government, however, defended the Kenya Kwanza administration, condemning the demonstrations witnessed yesterday. The Kenya Kwanza allied leaders argue that government should not be blamed for the increase in fuel prices.
Nimepitia vichochoro vile nimepitia, nimewaambia leo nimegundua njia zingine mpya ya kuja Kiambu. Mimi nilikuwa nafikiri ni ile njia najua kawaida. Leo nimepitia njia zingine za ajabu, lakini ni sawa. Imenipea nafasi kukutana na wananchi wengine ambao nilikuwa sijakutana nao hapo mbeleni. Nimepitia hapa na kuta watu wengine kwa kioski hapa na wasalimia. Wananiambia Matiang'i one time. Nawaambia hapo ndio tuko. Tunaenda mbele tukiwa namna hiyo. Kwa hivyo nawaomba, kwa sababu barabara iko vile iko na mambo iko vile iko leo, tupate nafasi ya kuondoka mapema, kila mtu afike nyumbani na viongozi wale tuongee. Alafu majaliwa ya Mwenyezi Mungu wiki ijayo wakati kama huu tukutane hapa. Sasa tupange mambo yetu, tuendelee mbele, na mahali popote mnaenda ujumbe ni huu: we want a stable country. Sisi hatuna shida na mtu, tunataka nchi yetu iwe na amani. Hawa wangwana ni wananchi wa Kenya, tunawaheshimu ndio, lakini kazi imewashinda. Yani wameshindwa na hii maneno ya kuongoza nchi.
All right, now moving on to a different story this morning. Transport was disrupted in several parts of the country after matatu operators launched a nationwide strike to protest the increase in fuel prices. In Kisii County, many passengers were stranded at bus terminals as most public service vehicles remained parked throughout the day. The chairman of the Matatu Owners Association for Kisii and Nyamira counties, Eric Kombo, said the strike was aimed at pressuring the government to lower fuel costs, which have continued to burden both operators and ordinary citizens. Residents noted that the rise in fuel prices has led to an increase in the cost of living and essential commodities, urging President William Ruto to fulfill his promise of reducing the cost of living for Kenyans. And the learning activities was disrupted in several parts of Thika in Kiambu County on Monday as ongoing nationwide protest against the rising fuel prices prevented many students from returning to school at St. John's High Vision Academy. Students, no teachers, did not report for classes, highlighting the significant impact the demonstrations have had on the education sector. Thika Private Schools Association Chairperson Mary Kirika blamed the government for failing to control the increasing fuel prices, saying the crisis has negatively affected the economy and various sectors, including education. She warned that the situation could further disrupt learning activities across the country if urgent action is not taken.
I've gone round to quite a number of our private schools. I have liaised with majority of the directors who are so down today. I have talked to the parents. Actually, they started calling me very early because, of course, they know I do a lot of coordination in terms of private schools. And if the parents are so affected also, because all the children are now at home. Buses were not able to transport children. Remember, our buses transport children from as early as 5, they are on their way going to collect children. Education is a serious sector. It's not something you wake up in the morning and you say children must stay at home. And so we are disturbed as a nation. I want to believe as a...
All right, now that brings us to the end of our news update this morning. Most of what was happening in the country yesterday was about the protest, and now we will be taking a short break. When we come back, we shall be having a conversation on the psychology of young people. How do they survive stress, trauma, and everything in between with this kind of economy, with this kind of government? I'm not saying it's a bad government or a good government. I'm just saying how are young people surviving this current state of our nation. That discussion coming up shortly after the break.
Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On Earth Check, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of Earth Check. Welcome.
Kila safari huanza kwa hatua moja. Bila shaka, dira ya Boresha Kilimo sasa imepata sura mpya. Boresha Kilimo si kipindi tu, bali ni darasa la vitendo kwa wakulima. Lengo kuu, mavuno bora na tija kwa jamii. Na ukikaa nasi basi utaboresha kilimo. Hapa tutakupakulia maarifa atakotia ladha ya kisukari kwenye mazao yako, tukitofautisha punje na mpunga. Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha. Kuanzia maandalizi ya shamba, mbinu za teknolojia ya kisasa hadi sokoni, usikose kutazama Boresha Kilimo. Ukitaka kujua haya usipime kipimo. Ungana nami nahodha wako Akida Kasim kila siku ya Jumamosi saa 6:30 mchana na Jumanne asubuhi, nikikuletea shajara kamili za wakulima na suluhisho mashinani. Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa, kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha. Kumbuka, ukipanda pantosha utavuna pankwisha.
Imagine a world where you are a empowered to take charge of your health, where you are well informed about the latest advancements in healthcare and understand the policies that impact your well-being. Get ready to take charge of matters your health as we bring you a blend of weekly health features that engage professionals from across various medical fields.
When do you decide as a patient, do I need to go see the doctor? We are at a stage where we are seeing all this manner of chronic illnesses and we wait until we get a disease and then is when we go ahead.
From the most mundane to the complexities that perhaps seem overwhelming, we got you covered.
In terms of the factors that might be attributed, there are hereditary factors that means it could be genetic, so that's one factor. But there are other factors as well, like nutritional deficiencies. So some vitamins such as folate have been identified to be a factor in those. So
our mission is to break down intricate health topics into understandable and actionable insights. Join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Wednesday 9 p.m. on KUTV's News at 9, where your health is our priority.
Welcome back, and we are seated ready for a discussion on mental health and how this is affecting young people. And we are specifically talking about mental health amongst young people, that is students in campus in high school, because I will consider them young people, or I'll consider them as youths, and also those who have just completed their campus life and are just struggling to find their way through their careers, through relationships and early marriages. That is a discussion that you're having this morning. Helping us understand that is Mordecai Job Nyasani, who is a psychologist and should I say psychologist student?
Yeah.
Who is a psychology student and also a mental health advocate. Good morning, Mordecai.
Good morning, Sylvia.
How are you doing?
I'm good. What about you guys?
We are fine, right here on Biashara Tuesday. Now, Mordecai, you are a mental health advocate. All my bios read mental health advocate. What does it mean to you to be a mental health advocate?
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm very passionate on speaking on issues about mental health, especially to this generation of the young people, especially the Gen Z. Being a mental health advocate, what it basically means is a person who speaks about mental health, the well-being, the emotional, psychological, and social well-being of people, on how they can improve it and basically live their lives well. So as people prioritize physical health, so it's also good to prioritize your mental health. So that is what mental health advocates do.
Okay. Now, do you think that the young people are really overemphasizing on mental health? Because this is something that was not so much vibrant years behind. So what do you think is different with the young people? Everyone talking about, my mental health, blah, blah, blah.
What I think is that mental health has really shifted, especially when you look in the back days or from the 90s. People were not so much aware about the mental health, especially the diseases that were affecting people were like diseases like, let me say, HIV, not diabetes, gonorrhea, and other diseases. But nowadays, the diseases that are affecting people are diseases that are caused by mental health and our behaviors, which are mostly influenced by our mental health and our cognitions. So young people now are at that risk because the challenges that most young people face are due to their mental health. So that's why young people are so passionate are talking much on mental health. Yeah.
All right. Now, you have mentioned mental health a number of times, more than once. Considering a student setup, with those who are in campus, or the young people generally, maybe those who have just concluded their studies in campus, or those who are joining campus, what would you consider to be their biggest challenge they're facing? Because as my father says, my father thinks that stress is not for people who are provided for. So what do you think is the major challenge of people or young people who are in school? What pressures do they encounter?
Yeah, that's a good question. One of the biggest challenge that young people face is peer pressure. Let me call it social pressure, because young people are vibrant, and we in this era that we have social media, young people have mentors. They are so aggressive. They want to maybe to secure their future. So these people, they so-called mentors, especially online mentors, give them a lot of pressure. So most young people try as much as possible to go out of their way to make sure that their lifestyle resemble these mentors in the social media spaces. So you find that young people don't understand that some of these mentors, the life that they live on social media is actually different from the things qua ground. So most people are mostly in what I have noticed recently is about money and cars and maybe dressing. So you find young people are being told that if you don't risk, you don't get it. If you don't do this, you'll not get this. They don't understand that in life there's a formula. There's the way things are done. There's a procedure. So young people want shortcuts. They want the microwave. They want to go the microwave style. They want to go through shortcuts. So you find these things give them a lot of pressure, and when they come to realize, they found that they have really messed. Yeah.
So how do we come out of this? Because in as much as there is trauma and past experiences that may trigger this, you know, someone coming from a place where they say they don't want to live like what they have seen at home, and all that pressure from parents as well, that has probably led to the debts that we are currently witnessing in the country with the young people. So how do we come out of this sort of pressure? Because it will be there, having social media at our face every now and then. How do we come out of this?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. To answer that, we'll first define mental health. And according to World Health Organization, mental health is the psychological, emotional, and social well-being of an individual. So what do we mean by the word emotional? So emotional, first, an individual has to understand himself. So after you've understood yourself, now you can know your limits, your strengths, your capabilities, what you can do best and what you cannot do. So when young people first reflect on themselves and learn themselves, they can cope with these challenges, because I know most young people are so vibrant. They do not want to live the way their fathers lived, or the way their parents lived. So after understanding themselves, to know maybe their purpose in life, to know what their values are, what is the right thing to do, then they can now go out and they can have now that they can have that confidence of maybe chasing their dreams and doing what they can do best, because most young people find themselves in wrong careers because most of the things they do they did not choose themselves. They were told by their parents. Maybe if they were coming to campus, they were told to do a certain course, and in high school their teachers told to do a certain course because their parents or their mentors perceived that was the best course for them. But now when they come to realize, they found that they are in a wrong career, they are doing something that is not making them happy. So and they live the rest of their life doing something that they are not happy doing. Mm-hmm. So when young people first understand themselves, understand their purpose in life, because I believe that everyone has that something that when they do it, they feel happy and they feel passionate about it. So one thing I usually tell young people is, what is that one thing that you will do without a paycheck? Mm-hmm. So that thing that you'll do without a paycheck is sometimes that can be your purpose, that can be your passion. So when you realize, when you learn yourself, get in touch with yourself, these are the things they will be well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So from what I get is that young people, most of them find themselves in stressful situation, depression, because they lack of identity crisis and lack of purpose.
Yeah, something
All
like
right.
that.
So what would you consider to be unhealthy ways of coping with the trauma or healing or pressure or anything? What would you consider to be unhealthy ways of coping?
Yeah, thank you for that. To answer that, let me first define trauma. I define trauma as a psych wound or a mental wound. So trauma is a wound, like for example, if you get injured now, a physical wound, you will have a wound, and after some time that wound will heal, but it forms a scar on the surface of the skin. So trauma is a mental wound, and sometimes it can after sometimes it forms a scar, and if it does not heal well, when ikiguzwa ama when ikiguzwa, it usually becomes painful. Mm-hmm. So some of the things that people young people do to negative coping mechanism to trauma is to avoid heal. It's to avoid healing. Mm-hmm. So you find someone maybe has a trauma. Maybe he was abused when he was young, he did not, the parents were neglectful. It tries to avoid the pain. So first it tries to avoid the pain and tries to heal the wrong way, tries to avoid that. It tries to minimize the pain that it did not heal well. So through this, it goes to behaviors like drinking, smoking, gambling, depression, and other things. So it tries to escape the pain. So what a person having trauma can do is to actually go through the pain and accept that the hurt was done, was hurt, and this is not to validate that the person who did the hurt did a good thing, but it's to first accept that yes, I was hurt, and I'm ready now to take steps that can I'm ready now to take steps to healing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, that's brilliant. Mm-hmm. Now, as we conclude, your final words will be an advice to a young person who is probably traumatized, who is probably in their healing journey, who is stressed, depressed. Any advice you'd give to them for them to overcome that state of mind that they're in right now?
Yeah. So what I want to tell young people who are going through trauma is that trauma, every trauma, it's possible to heal. So first of all, accept that you are hurt, and accepting that you are hurt does not validate that the person who hurt you did the right thing. It's just to accept that that you went through the pain and you're ready to heal. So if you are having stress and you are going through negative, you have negative coping mechanisms, we have right coping mechanisms such as practicing mindfulness, such as maybe doing yoga, eating well, sleeping 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, and other positive coping mechanism. So it's you are just practice self-care, because self-care is the best healthcare. Yeah.
In short, tujipende.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Nyasani, for making time for us this morning. I hope to see you once again with more conversations on how to strengthen the mental health or the mental muscles of our young people, so that we avoid all these cases of suicide, all these cases of femicide, and everything in between.
Thank you so much.
All right. Now that has been a short and sweet discussion on mental health. It is something that we rarely talk about, or we forget to talk about it most of the time. And joining us has been Nyasani, who is a psychology student and also a mental health advocate. Stay tuned for more discussions that are coming out on this coverage right here on Biashara Tuesday.
Calls have intensified for nurses to take up more research roles and actively contribute to policy development as the profession continues to evolve within the healthcare sector.
To nurses, I want to say and request that we embrace lifelong learning, leadership, and innovation, because the future of healthcare depends on what we do today to empower our nurses.
I do not think there is someone who has rightfully come requesting to go back to school and has been denied. What am I saying? I am encouraging us, take these opportunities to go back to school. We are able to balance your school hours and your class hours, so that you are balancing both of them.
Speaking during the World Nurses Week culmination event held at the Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital, healthcare leaders acknowledged the contribution of nurses in delivering quality healthcare services and managing complex medical cases across the country.
The strength of our health systems, the safety of our patients, and the well-being of our communities are deeply anchored in the empowerment of nurses.
The event brought together senior healthcare officials, nursing leaders, and stakeholders who highlighted the growing impact of nurses.
Traditionally, nursing has been framed mainly in terms of sacrifice and compassion, and these values are central to who we are, but nursing is also an economic force. Healthy patients return to their work sooner, families remain productive, health systems reduce avoidable costs. When nurses are empowered, healthcare becomes more efficient and sustainable.
Work of nurses and midwives is both deeply personal and urgently global. The world needs 1 million more midwives to close critical gaps in maternal and newborn health, while at the same time, nurses everywhere must be protected, respected, empowered to work at their full potential. These are not separate conversations. They are two sides of the same coin.
Speakers at the event noted that the nursing profession has increasingly become central in improving healthcare outcomes, with nurses now handling specialized responsibilities that continue to elevate healthcare standards in the country.
So we require nurses with brains. We require nurses with a rationale of everything that you do. But how do you get the rationale? You have to be involved actively in research.
Healthcare experts further challenge nurses to embrace innovation, self-care, and research-driven practices in order to strengthen the profession and influence healthcare policies in the country. Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
Calls for accessible learning and equal opportunities dominated the 16th Disability Awareness Day celebrations at Kenyatta University as education stakeholders push for stronger support systems to empower students living with disabilities within institutions of higher learning. While representing the acting Vice-Chancellor Professor John Okumu, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research and Innovation Professor Caroline Thorua noted that Kenyatta University continues to strengthen its reputation as an inclusive institution, as she highlighted ongoing initiatives that enhance accessibility, promote equal opportunities, and support the academic and social development of students living with disabilities.
Over the years, Kenyatta University has remained committed to providing access to higher education for persons with disabilities through the mainstreaming concept. It is noteworthy that the university admits the largest number of students with disabilities among universities in Eastern and Central Africa. The majority of these students are persons with visual impairments, followed by those with physical disabilities.
The Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academics Professor Washeke Wanjohi said Kenyatta University have created spaces for students living with disabilities to participate in leadership, innovation, and academic programs, noting that inclusion should be reflected through equal opportunities and active engagement in campus life.
Just buttressing the fact that these are very, very important people in our community and needed to be supported structurally and system-wise so that we enhance integration and inclusivity.
Alex Munyere, Program Officer at the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, says the council is collaborating with universities to enhance disability inclusion frameworks, improve accessibility, and strengthen monitoring systems aimed at ensuring students living with disabilities receive equal academic support and opportunities.
These initiatives have enabled thousands of individuals and families to live with greater independence, dignity, and opportunity. The Council supports inclusive employment and enterprise development through scholarships, assistive devices, provision of assistive devices, trainings, linkages with employers.
Students living with disabilities at Kenyatta University praise the institution for promoting inclusive learning. Mentorship programs and participation in campus activities have helped strengthen the academic experience and confidence within the university environment.
Hand to prove your right to belong in a space that was meant for everyone. Within higher learning institutions, students living with disability share classrooms, libraries, hostels, and social spaces with their peers. However, many still experience stigma, discrimination, and attitudinal barriers from fellow students without disabilities.
The event concluded with stakeholders reaffirming commitment to inclusive higher education, urging continuous action to support students living with disabilities. Edna Nerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
All right, welcome back. And once again, we are having a conversation on involving women in STEM careers. This is something that Biashara Tuesday has really been keen on, to push for young women or young girls, young ladies to get more opportunities in STEM. And today we are joined by a very able lady who is pursuing her degree, of course, in mathematics and computer science, something that we normally hear it mostly with the male or the male species or the men. And she's joining us right here, telling us it is possible. How are you this morning, Abigail?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me, and I'm happy to have this discussion. Yeah.
So joining us is, she has forgotten to say her name. She's Babla Wanjira.
Yeah.
And she's a third-year student at Kenyatta University. So Babla, we've had several ladies joining us right here who are members of KUFEST, or KU First, according to how you'd wish to pronounce it. They really told of very interesting stories of how they got to decide they're getting into STEM. What's your story?
So I don't think I have a specific moment when I decided I'm going to get into STEM. I think it's more of the common, I want to be a doctor from childhood story. So I'm trying to become a doctor, but then the grades. So you try to venture into a different career or a different course, because then after high school, you're not really thinking about a career. You're just thinking about the university you want to get into, the course you want to get into. So that is how I came upon mathematics and computer science. And that is how I am actually here. And I like the career. I like the course. It is much interesting. I don't think I could really be this happy if I went to the doctor side of it. Yeah, so it's quite interesting.
So by default, the low grades turned you to your passion. Would you consider mathematics and computer science your passion?
Yes, I could consider computer science. I think mathematics is just the part you just do, but I like mathematics. I don't have the attitude like probably everyone else, but more of computer science. I really like computer science, dealing with computers and getting into cybersecurity. So that is my niche. Yeah.
We'll get more into that, but right now I want you to talk to us about the moment you discovered, when growing up, yes, everyone is told be a doctor, be a teacher, I was told to be a teacher, be a doctor, be this and this, be an engineer. And then you get to campus with your mathematics and computer science, and then you discover that, this is probably the future of job opportunities, because it is inevitable. Computer science, cybersecurity is inevitable. So how did you feel when you discover that, okay, I made a right decision with the fact that with the artificial intelligence coming forth and all these, changes in technology, I'm at the right place?
Pretty much when I just started getting into computer, because I had studied computer studies in high school, so I had some little bit of information. But then when I got in here, I got a different perspective of computers, because we used to study the common computers using Word, using whatever, but now you get to the backside of computing, how exactly it happens. So it was pretty interesting, and that is how I was like, yes, I'm going to do this, and then venturing more, because we have very many areas in computer. So it's like, let me specify on this specific area, which was now cybersecurity. Yeah.
All right. Now, what is different from what you get to hear before joining in, like for us outsiders? What is different from what we hear versus what actually happens with the study of computer science, talking of the myths and misconceptions surrounding computer science and cybersecurity?
So very many people think computer science probably is easy, or some say it's hard, but it's pretty much just understanding how things work. It's not like any other course that you just learn something simple, or not even necessarily simple, but something, just learn something on top to do. This is, in computer science, we learn something deeper. We learn how exactly the systems work, how they are built, how you can actually delve into the systems, how you can manage the systems and all that. That is where, because very many people, when they're using, for example, M-Pesa or WhatsApp, they don't really understand what is going on behind the scenes. Because even before I got into computer science, or before I even learned that I could do more of the programming, the coding, I thought like, how is this working? How is M-Pesa working? How are all these things working? So it actually was pretty much nice. And one of the myths that are there is probably it is easy, or probably it is hard, but I think it depends on the person. We have people with passion, we have people with interest. So I pretty much think it's just that. There's no specific area that you could say, I am good at this, I am not good at this. It's just a matter of actually getting in there and liking what you're doing. Yeah.
Does it threaten you with the current advancement in AI? Like right now, you don't necessarily need, you can use AI for coding, you can use AI for programming and all that. Does it threaten you that maybe you might be outshined by AI?
No. When we are here, I think that could be one of the myths, because everyone is saying the jobs will be done off. Yes, there are some jobs that will be out, but then it will also create jobs. It's like before we had the internet, we had people who would say, I'm losing this job, I'm going to lose this job. But you can see the internet has created very many jobs. We have TikTok. We have all these platforms. You have huge companies that were never there. So I think that is what it has really created. So when it comes to AI, it is also going to create very many jobs, not just destroy some jobs. Yes, it will take some of the simple jobs, but it will also enforce you to learn more, get more skilled, so that you can be able to do other greater things. Yeah.
So it will only replace those who refuse to change.
Yes.
All right. Now, giving advice to a young girl who is probably dreaming of pursuing computer science, what would you consider are the irreducible minimums, achievements for you to get into that course?
So currently, because we usually have the KCSE, so that is the standard we usually have in Kenya, so you have probably to get some good grades.
What do you mean by good grades?
By good grades, I mean, for example, you may get a B or a B+, but when it comes to cutoff points, that is what really makes people not get into the course, because you're qualified, yes, but we have very many people who are qualified ahead of you. So they will be taken, so you will be cut by the cluster points. So what I would tell that student is, if you really want to get into this field, for example, you could either, if you have the grades, if you're already reached the cluster points, get into it. If not, we have very many courses online. We have colleges. We have all these platforms that you can actually learn from. So it is not, don't get discouraged when you are not able to, for example, get into it. Just get something, learn something, get information, talk to someone who actually is in that field and tell them, I'm in this situation, so how can I go forward from here? Yeah.
When we were doing unit registration the first time right here in KU of maths and physics, the lecturer who was signing the units was asking, what mark did you get in maths? What mark did you get in physics? Is that the case with computer science and mathematics? If so, what are the cutoff of the specific subjects?
So mainly it is usually a B or a B+ in most of them, because they are STEM subjects, because STEM subjects are considered to have high grades. But I don't really think it is it really is going to be of a concern what grade you get, because there are people who are going to, for example, get an A in math. For example, in our class, there may be people who got an A, who got a B, who got a B+. But it just depends on how you actually got in, because the cluster points usually apply for people who are applying through KUSPs. That is the application platform for applying to universities and TVETs. But you can actually get into through self-sponsored, or just get into colleges, or get into other online courses.
Right. Now, being in STEM as a student, of course, you've interacted with your mentors who are far beyond you.
Yeah.
What would you consider to be the challenges that you face as a lady in STEM?
So one of them will probably be the number. So in our class, we will be very many, but looking at the ratio between the male and the female gender, it's actually pretty much different. So the male are more and the female are few. That is why we actually are helping or running initiatives to help the young girls get into these fields, so that we can bridge the gap in the number difference. Probably an issue or a challenge that I may have faced throughout is probably just the basic learning, because in campus you also have to really work, because the course itself is not easy. You have mathematics, you have computer, so you actually have to really work hard. So the main challenge is just to get into it and actually study, because it is always known out here, colleges, universities, people are not studying, just sherehe, just doing whatever. So I think it is more of get into class, actually do it, because it is hard. Yeah.
All right, so finally you admitted it's hard.
It's hard.
Apart from the numbers, are there any other challenges that you have encountered as a person?
As a person, I don't really think so. But one of the main ones probably could be in computer science. People just get in, you study, you get the degree, but when you get to the workplace, you need skills. You need to be knowing what you're doing. So in school, we get the introduction. Introduction to programming, some simple coding, and it is very nice. But then you actually have to get much into it and actually build a whole platform. For example, building WhatsApp, building M-Pesa, or doing those huge things. So one of the many challenges that I feel like we all probably are facing, it's actually getting the skills. That is why we have mentors, or you could look for mentors or get communities like women in tech communities, or more of getting a mentor who will actually be there to help you and to tell you, do this specific course outside of the normal schoolwork, or just do this something extra to help you build your career. Yeah.
All right, now as we bring this to an end, now that you've specialized in cybersecurity, and it is something that is currently on the rise. We have minimal cybersecurity laws that are currently in place. So any advice on how we could protect ourselves online, especially as this mostly affects women in who are activists, or generally people who are activists, those who are journalists, with all this cyberbullying and all that? How would you advise us to protect ourselves as a professional?
So one of the many things, or the major things that is out here, is data. So that is the one thing that you should protect, your data. For example, right now we have AI, you have chatbots, everyone is just using ChatGPT everywhere. You want to tell it all your information. I do not think that is very nice, or I don't think that is very wise to do. So for example, in that, just ensure that you use your data wisely, or you give out your data wisely. You don't just give out your data to everyone or to every platform. Just use your data and ensure that whatever data you are giving out, for example, you cannot take a picture of your credit card and post it online. You cannot take a picture of your ID and post it online. You see, that gives you a vulnerability. Some bad actor or a hacker can use that information against you. So ensure that you are sure of the information that you're posting out here. And then when it comes to cyberbullying, or all of those, we obviously know we are in the world full of people who actually, people just do horrible things or anything. You just don't rely on the comments probably that you see online. But I will tell you to probably, if you have those many comments or you're posting online and getting all those comments, we have features like filtering comments. You can filter those comments. You can just ensure that you don't really delve into that much, because now you'll have more issues. But to ensure that you are safe online, mainly ensure that your data is safe. Just don't give out your data. Yeah.
So that's where we sell ourselves out most of the time.
With the data.
Oh, okay, with pictures, with where we are and all that.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what is the best part about you being in STEM?
Oh, I would say it's the whole experience. Being in STEM is quite interesting. We get to do very many things. We get to get into very many industries and very many communities like KUFEST, where you interact with people in different sectors, in different courses. So it's pretty much the full community, how you're dealing with everyone, how you're doing everything. It's just pretty much the whole experience, and also the learning. Since it is interesting, actually learning to build something, learning to actually do something. So it's just basically the whole experience.
All right. Now, I know with KUFEST, you're always doing mentorship to young girls in high schools and, talking to them, encouraging them to get into STEM. Now, away from school setup, you're now in studio setup, I'd want you to advise a young girl who is in high school, encouraging them either to join STEM or to have positive attitude with STEM, because we have reports that are saying that the current CBE students or learners are performing really poorly in science and mathematics. So any advice you'd give to them is the time, please.
So the main thing I would tell them is attitude. we have always had it. Even when we were in school, you could be getting people or mentors or teachers just talking to us about attitude, because everyone just says STEM is hard, so I'm just gonna do it. You have a question in the evening when you're in school and you have to do it, and you're like, STEM is hard, I'm just not gonna do it. Mathematics is hard, that question is so hard, I'm not gonna do it. So I'm going to talk more on attitude. So specifically, ensure that you have a nice attitude towards what you're doing. You may probably not really like it, because not everyone will really delve into STEM, but just ensure that you just do it. Don't really have that horrible attitude or have that notion of this is hard, I'm not going to do it. Yes.
All right. Now, thank you so much for making time for us this morning. I don't know if you have any last words for our viewers before we bring this to an end.
I would probably tell anyone or everyone out here, mentorship is great. You should look for a mentor wherever you are, mostly the young girls, the young students, anyone in school. Just get a mentor in whatever area that you are in. They actually help you a lot, because they have gone through what you have actually gone through or you're going to go through. So it's a great experience to get a mentor. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Babla. Now that has been Babla Wanjira, who is a member of KUFAS right here in Kenyatta University, an organization that ensures that it encourages young girls to be part of STEM careers, giving mentorship to those who are already studying for that, and also giving them encouragement and support as they, move forward to their careers, and being the stepping stone that they need. We'll be having more of such conversations here to encourage you to do the unthinkable, or to do that which you think you cannot do. That has been on the launch, and coming up next is a discussion on the state of the nation. That discussion will be Ojwang Mariam, who is the incoming MCA, Kawa West constituency. Ongoing challenges.
So the union we gathered here today at
the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPET, has called for inclusivity for their members, emphasizing that many of them continue to show resilience despite ongoing challenges.
So the union we gathered here today at Hennessy Hotel to celebrate mothers who are able differently, and some of them also who are taking care of children who are also able differently. These mothers are teachers. They are workers of this nation, and they work for this great country. They empower the society through education. So many times they are forgotten. So today, through the gender department of the branch, we felt it is important to celebrate this special category, this special group of teachers.
The branch's Executive Secretary General, Isaac Masenge, pressed for the creation of dedicated gender and persons with disabilities desks to better respond to challenges facing teachers.
Look at, as a union, together with the other stakeholders, to ensure that challenges that are faced by this group of people can be addressed in a very better way. Equally, the already suggested that being a policy issue that we must look at, I've already said that even during promotions of these mothers who face these challenges, we requested that TSC at one point to create affirmative action for this group of people.
Additionally, the KUPET Nairobi branch secretary, gender docket, Rispa Otori, called on both families and the government to safeguard teachers and children with disabilities by developing more disability-friendly environments in schools and workplaces.
So we decided to celebrate them because most of the people overlook them. So we have also partnered with a nurse who will work with us closely as KUPET, as the gender docket. So that nurse will be available to all teachers in Nairobi County in case of any crisis, counseling, postpartum, before, during the pregnancy, or any time an issue arises concerning motherhood. The nurse will be available on call, and that will ease the pressures of teachers, the pressures of mothers.
They insist that disability docket will advocate for greater recognition and equitable treatment of teachers with disabilities, especially in career progression.
The other thing that we are pushing, or we are asking the government, is to ensure that the parents who are teachers with kids with disabilities, they're supposed to be given some allowances, or what we call tax exemption.
So we celebrate you and we appreciate you for the good job that you keep doing. You keep showing up despite whatever you're going through. We thank you for everything that you're doing for us and feel celebrated. Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day.
This call for affirmative action for teachers living with disabilities by KUPET through their theme, Celebrating Resilience and Honoring Mothers' Contribution in Empowering Society through Education, brings about a great move for inclusivity of our mothers and teachers who are often forgotten, yet their contribution to society through education remains invaluable. Phyllis Wanja, KUTV.
For a long time, young people in Kenya have been left behind in the fight against climate change. However, youth under the Organization of Youth Kenya, Kenya Youth Advisory Council, and the MOEM Action Post have now decided to place young people at the forefront of these efforts.
People who constitute over 75% of the Kenyan's population bear a disproportionate share of these climate-related impacts. Yet they are also at the forefront of developing and implementing innovative, community-driven solutions to address the crisis. Despite their critical role, their efforts remain underrepresented in key decision-making platforms where climate policy are shaped.
Calling on representation of young people in rooms where decisions are made, because we are not just meant to be consulted, but we also need to be in the spaces where decisions are made.
That climate change is not a distant threat anymore. Climate change is here with us. We are seeing erratic rains which are unpredictable. We are seeing flooding. We're seeing many changes compared to what we used to see before. So it's important for all of us as Kenyans, as communities, as development organizations to pull our efforts together and ensure that we help our communities sail through, adapt, and remain resilient to these challenges of climate change.
The organizations fighting against adverse climate change have provided a platform and opportunity for youth to participate in climate action through the 2026 Local Conference of Youth Kenya.
We are equally honored to confirm that the Organization of African Youth Kenya, the Kenya Youth Climate Advisory Council, and the MOEM Action Post have been officially selected as a hosting organization for this landmark event. ELCO is part of a global movement under Anyango, the official youth and children constituency of the United Nations Framework Convention of Climate Change. ELCO creates a space for young people to actively influence policy decisions, local, national, and international levels.
The organizations aim to travel across all regions in the country to involve young people in the initiatives.
We are making this event very accessible by moving across Kenya to each economic block. We'll go to El-Reb, we'll go to Sekeb, we'll go to the Mount Kenya region to ensure that we come very close to young people, because one of the challenges is access and means to where platforms are. So that's number one. If you are residing in an area and you are fostering climate action at the local level, you are doing climate smart agriculture, you have an innovation, we are coming to you with partners who can help you scale what you're doing. And we are also coming to incorporate your views about how best can we improve local climate action by the young people to fit the standards that can benefit your community. Because sometimes you may be building at the local level and nobody's seeing.
The organizations are now calling both the national and county governments to support the efforts of the young people through funding to empower them in climate change campaigns.
So our call to government this year is to ensure that young people from Kenya are represented in the rooms where decisions are made.
How the government can support youth voices to be heard at the international level is to provide badges and support to actually attend those events because sometimes they are not very affordable to many people. So it's important to provide support with badges and support that is available.
The youth-led climate initiative aims to mobilize young people to come up with the Kenya National Youth Statement. This statement will be used in the formulation of climate change policies and ensure youth representation in the efforts at both national and international levels.
A central outcome of the ELCOI Kenya 2026 will be the co-creation of the Kenya National Youth Climate Statement, a document that will capture key recommendations, lived experiences, and innovative solutions from youth across the country. This statement will directly inform local and national climate policies and contribute to global advocacy ahead of COP31 in Antalya, Turkey.
Hassan Lewa, KUTV.
All right, welcome back. And we are seated ready for the discussion on the state of our nation. And of course, this is the newspaper review. Helping me get deeper into the newspapers this morning is Bobby Odhiambo and our very own Ojwang Mariam, who is the incoming MCA Kawa West Ward. Is it ward or constituency? Kawa West Ward. Constituency. Sorry to our viewers because I've been saying constituency throughout the show. It's Kawa West Ward. They'll be helping us delve deeper into the discussion on the state of our nation. Allow me have them introduce themselves to you or greet you for that matter. Let's begin with the John.
Asante sana. I'm grateful. Good morning, everyone, people of the world. I am here to glorify God because of the things that I'm seeing in the ground. Amidst a time when people are experiencing a total shutdown because of the continued rapid rise of fuel prices, I spent time with my community in Kahawa West, and those who were around me were experiencing a David moment, a moment where we are the youth, yes, but it is the old people called wazee, wanatuombea, wanatuambia nyinyi vijana, wewe Ojwang, mkona nguvu ya kutusaidia sisi. With that clarion call ya tunaweza wasaidia, mimi nawaambia, we know that because of this constitution, because this is where we vested all the powers, the sovereign powers, according to Article 1 of this constitution. We said that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya. Those people, if today they want to ensure that the fuel prices come down, they can. The public sector is just one sector, but them downing tools yesterday on 18th May 2026 witnessed a total shutdown in Chiote. We were looking like we are all over again in a corona period, because that is a period that most of us can experience. For those of us, when you are watch ma movie na ma series, we are looking like we are in the zombie era, because Kenyans had decided to exercise their power. I am hoping we'll do the same come 2027. We will use that kind of anger and passion to do the right thing, because the right thing is guaranteed to us when we devolve power to other people, as we call them government, through election. So tukifika hapo hivyo, mimi Ojwang Mariam nakuja na wave inaitwa Believe Become. Au sio watu wako na pesa, au sio watu wako na jina, au sio maybe hata watu baba zao wanajulikana, but I'm leading a movement ya vijana kutoka ghetto. Vijana wametumwa na kuundwa na community kupitia shule tofauti tofauti, wasome wawasaidie, na nawaambia, it is time, my people, to liberate our people. If you are a youth, support a youth for an MCA seat. Hakuna tena kukuwa na wazee kutoka president, wazee senator, wazee MP, na sisi MCA tutawekwa wapi? Lazima vijana tukuwe na space yetu kwa government inayokuja. Wakati ni sasa, na kama sio sasa ni sasa hivi. Asante sana my sister.
All right, you bring that line ya vijana barubaru. All right, Bobby, karibu sana. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Sylvia. As it has been said by my brother Ojwang,
we are believing and we hope that we will become. So I'm Bobby Odhiambo, Victor Omondi. I'm a student leader in Kenyatta University, and I'm also a youth champion. The rights of the youths, you see now, we are being pushed toward the corner, and we need to react on those specific issues that we feel are not right in our country. We are the leaders of tomorrow, and tomorrow is now, and therefore we must take the mantle irrespective of our age or any other thing. Yeah, thank you. I'm so much glad to have you today.
All right. Yeah. We are the leaders of tomorrow, and tomorrow is now.
Tomorrow is
yes.
now.
All right. That is a word, just like what is currently trending, with all due respect. We'll talk about that later. Actually, we are talking about it. This is the Standard is saying a total shutdown. Just to read what we have there, the country was effectively on lockdown yesterday as Kenyans poured into streets to protest soaring fuel prices. As chaos unfolded at home, President William Ruto's social media pages were awash with images of him in Baku, Azerbaijan, meeting dignitaries, appearing detached from the unfolding crisis and the suffering of the very people who elected him, especially at such a moment of national strain. It was only in the evening that Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen held a press conference where he appeared like a deer caught in the headlights to blame opposition politicians for the unrest. The remarks, as become routine, leaned heavily on scapegoating with tribal undertones while sidestepping the central reality. Wananchi on the streets because life has become unbearable under skyrocketing fuel prices, with the ripple effect crippling the economy. More of that story is on page 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the Daily Nation, still on the same story, talking of total paralysis. And where, with all due respect, comes in is no deal, strike continues. That man is called George Matete, I think George Matete, who, when the CS was talking of, we've come to an agreement that it shall be 10 shillings, and it was like, ngoja kidogo. That is not what we agreed on. This is subject to further discussion. That is not even my problem of having press conferences released that are contrary to what was agreed on, because clearly speaking, George is not among the people who are supposed to be talking, because alitoka kule nyuma akaja mbele kuzungumza, and those people who were supposed to be speaking, the president, were all silent as the CS was reading his presentation or his speech or his submission, and George clearly was not the man to speak of what was happening. And he was like, you know what, I am not going to be silenced. All of you might be silent, might be cowards. That's a word that I was given. Must be cowards, or you must be fearing that maybe something may happen after this, but I'm not going to shut up. I am going to speak. And that is the spirit that we're having. So apart from that spirit, because that has been trickling down to everyone in this country, a spirit where we are not shut down by, intimidation or anything. My concern is, with the current regime, the responses that we are getting as Kenyans, not a reaction to the crisis that we are mentioning, but a reaction to opposition. The reaction is, you politicians, you opposition are fueling protests. That is the reaction from the government, and not a reaction that there is fuel crisis, this is what we are doing. What do you think about government's reaction on the current state of the nation?
Oh, thank you very much. I think this is not the time that we should play blame games. I think it is a time that we should face the problem head on. Remember, yesterday we lost 4 people and very many people were injured, and that is a very negative outcome that we should record as a country. We are losing 3 billion daily yesterday, and if this continues this way, it will have a negative implication on our economy. Remember, we have a total shutdown. People cannot go to their workplaces. The business are standstill. There is a need for government to address this issue, and by taking actions. It is time. We don't need more of speeches. We need action to be taken by the government. As at now, you can see even the small businesses are being shut down simply because there is no movement. People cannot travel from their places to where they are doing businesses. And remember, these are things that are being done by the citizens to put food on the table. And now you hear the government is talking about we have had a conversation, and in turn, the people who are having the conversation there are also denying that we have not reached to an agreement. The president is outside and is so much quiet, so that is raising a lot of concern to the Kenyan citizens. We are so much in a confusion state that we don't know what to do. The government is blaming the opposition is blaming the government. I think there should be a clear communication from the government on how they want to deal with these issues, rather than putting blame games, because we've lost a lot and we are losing a lot as a country.
All right. Now, Ojwang, how should the government be reacting?
The government should be considerate, Sylvia. The whole essence of its existence is to represent the people. How is the government representing you as a person when you cannot afford kerosene? When if you are mobile, you cannot afford diesel or petrol? But the government thinks it's wiser than the people. Why? Because it wants to push a narrative of what they call G2G, government to government, and help a few people, a few millionaires, to milk from the rest of Kenyans. They are forgetting, mazima ali tumefika, huyu ng'ombe anaitwa Mkenya, tumemkamua, matiti zimekauka. We need this government to be proactive, not reactive. Everything in terms of business is controlled by the curve of demand and supply. If someone cannot supply our demand as a country, we are free to move to another country. Really, shida si mafuta. Tuko na mafuta Turkana. Shida si mafuta. Afrika kuna mafuta. But we keep saying the Strait of Hormuz ikiguzwa na Iran ni kama kuguza mlima, hatutapata mafuta. Before 2022 bado tulikuwa tunasema that vita vya Russia vinafanya hakuna mafuta nchini Kenya. Today vita vya Russia vinaendelea. Vita vya Ukraine vimekuja. If we keep blaming other countries on our own misfortunes, vita vya nchi nyingine vitakuja, vya nchi nyingine vitakuja, na eventually tutaaga. If you listen to the current DP Kindiki saying that the president from Azerbaijan, uko Baku, akimit dignitaries, has organized meeting with the oil marketers, all cabinet secretaries, to ensure that they get a solution, it feels like playing with our psychology and emotions. That is why you are seeing people bold enough to say, with all due respect, Opio Wandai, haki yangai, sisi si watoto. You cannot come on media, parade our faces tukiwa tumesimama hapa nyuma yako, and you lie to the same Kenyans wenye tutaenda kulala kwao jioni. But we Kenyans, if that government cannot help us, it is time to form another one.
Mm-hmm. Do you support the protests?
I support the protest. Mm-hmm. I participated in the protests. And I said the Constitution of Kenya, Article number 37, was clear when it was giving all of us as Kenyans the right to demonstrate, to picket, and to present our petitions whenever we are aggrieved and our rights are touched. Ukiguza mafuta, tutasurvive aje?
You support the protests, and I asked earlier that what would you have done differently? Because the only way to get the fuel prices down is to avoid all the taxes, because the landing cost is above 100 shillings, I think.
Sylvia, I think...
Just a minute. To reduce the price, that means the government needs to do away with all the taxes involved with fuel. So how then will we be able to have the money to pay our debts? Because it's from the money that we are paying our debts, which currently is above 50% of our revenue collection.
We need to reinvestigate what tax is, the introduction of tax in our system, and how it helps us vis-a-vis how it destroys us. When we get to realize that, then we know we can even run our economy without taxing mwananchi. We can do all this, lower the tax. What is a tax? A tax is some kind of a limitation. You want to bring your oil to our Kenyan people, we will tax you at the port. We will also tax you at another dock. That is what tax is. What would happen when you reduce all those taxes? The curve of demand and supply will play on its own without more government interferences. Na bei ya mafuta itashuka. Bei ya vitu pia zitashuka.
Yes, just to indulge you for a second, what my brother Ojuang has said is true. Actually, in Kenya, over 40% of a pump price in Kenya consists of the taxes and levies. That's where we have the VAT and the anti-adulteration levy and road maintenance levy. I think there was a time whereby some legislature, including Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, temporarily they presented this bill to the parliament so that we scrap off all these local taxes that have been imposed on our fuel. I think this was a good move that was going to relieve our Kenyan citizen on this high taxation, and this was going to help us actually not to over-depend from the global situation and actually manage our situation internally. I think this was a good move, but I don't know what is happening in the legislature. I don't know. They are also held captive by the government. We don't know what is happening.
So my question is, we are supporting the strike, yes?
Yeah.
And someone may argue that with the strike, the government will be forced to do what is right. But then again, if the government does right by us citizens, that means we are going to be having really bad credit scores, because we'll probably be defaulting in our loan repayment, that is with the IMF, that is with the, the loans that we are taking, the foreign loans that we are taking. And we'll also default on the internal loans that we're having, because currently the country is, the government is mostly borrowing hugely to pay debts, both internal debts and external debt. Eurobond will be maturing, I think, in the next 2-3 months. So if this happens, how then will we support ourselves as a country?
This is how we will support ourselves as a country. First of all, we have said that tax is a tool of control. We have road levy tax for roads that we have not even properly maintained or constructed. We reduce those taxes and the price of mafuta itashuka. Another thing, we should never collect taxes from our fellow Kenyans to pay debts. It is bad business. It's like you uende kwa bank, ukope bank, ndo uende ukalipe Shylock. We are supposed to contribute into that consolidated fund in form of tax for development. Uchange kiasi, tujenge hosi. Uchange kiasi, tujenge barabara. Uchange kiasi, watoto wetu wasome. Sio tuchange tulipe mkoloni pesa zenye anatuitisha. We reinvestigate even that odious debt. You find that Kenyans really don't have these debts. I told you the other day that we are the product, and we are the people who are helping these countries like France. It is because we have the minerals, we have the ability to excavate the minerals, we have the lands, the climate, the seeds, and we have the manpower to fuel all that energy into food and consumption. We have men who can fight and give security to their people, and that is why they are ferrying us to Ukraine to fight against Ukraine for Russia. They come to us because they need us. If they come to us because we need us, then we do right. I stop overtaxing you and I give you a favorable business environment. I construct or build roads for you to ease in your process of production to consumption. Na hapo hivyo katikati distributors and logistics wenye koko transport wanakulia kakitu, because oil marketers hawalimi, but wakiprovide mafuta kunakuwa na barabara na access. Wakikosa kukua pale hivyo kunakuwa na shutdown. Wewe unataka uongezee ushuru kila wakati, uwaambie ndio usikope, na bado unawaambia tunahitaji kulipa mabilioni tumekopa. Tumekopa more now in this regime than ever. Yet bado tunaimba tunafanya hivi ndio tusikope. Tutawaumiza hadi lini watu wetu with the narratives.
All right, I think this is a discussion that we probably may not be able to come with a conclusion on how the government should be reacting.
It is a conversation that does not need experts. It is a conversation that needs people to be people to be true and to themselves, people to be honest to their other people. Wewe kuwa honest na huyu, ndo usimtoze maushuru mingi alafu muambie biashara yako imeimarika, bei ya mafuta imeshuka, basi hakikisha ya kwamba nchi inasonga, so that we can have the boldness to ask our people. Don't, like Kibaki said, don't ask the government inakusaidia aje, ni wewe unasaidia gava aje. For us to be able to ask people wewe unasaidia gava aje, we must make all their processes favorable for them to have a shilling in the pocket first.
All right. Now let's get a little bit into politics, and it's the politics of the opposition and the ruling party. Which magazine was that? I think it was the People Daily, which was talking of the 2027 talks. Let me just frame it. We have the opposition currently, and Gachagua left the country, I think 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
For the UK.
We've had conversations where he's saying that he's the fuel of the opposition, and the opposition will gain its momentum once he gets back in the country. There are those who argue that Gachagua has killed the opposition. You're of DCP. There are those who argue that Gachagua has killed opposition in the country. There are those who even argue that the current strike is successful because Gachagua is out of the country. Every maandamano that has been planned when Gachagua is in the country has not been successful because of tribal utterances, alleged tribal utterances. Now, from where you sit, what do you think is the fate of opposition? Because right now, Methu, who is apparently Gashagua's mouthpiece, the way Sifuna was Odinga's mouthpiece, is talking of, if Gachagua got 3 million votes and ODM had 2 million votes, that means Gachagua is bringing 5 million votes. So is it only good for you to support someone who brings an election? For you to win an election, you need 8 million votes. So he argues that, is it only right for someone who brings 5 million votes to be supported by others who bring 3 million votes, other than taking 5 million votes to someone with 3 million votes? So that's the argument. That means Gachagua is planning to run for presidency. What do you think, Bobby, is the current state of opposition and its fate come 2027?
Okay. My brother Juang, I know you're a member of DCP party. It's okay, but I think the conversation that we should have is not about who brings what, like I have this number of votes, then I should be the one to vie, something like that. It is actually not a good conversation in the opposition. I think our main aim as a people, as a country, we should see on how we want to move this country forward on the basis of development, economic liberation. We are so much back behind, especially when we compare ourselves with the countries that we gained independence with, as the president used to say. And it's the same these politicians who have derailed us backward. And it will not be a surprise that when, for example, Gachagua gets into power, and then we will have that a big difference. I don't think these people are just the same. And what we need to do is let them tell us what difference do they want to change, or what change do they want to bring to the people of Kenya, as opposed to measuring their political prowess. You see, I'm more superior than the other person. That one won't help us as a country. We are suffering. The cost of living is high. Yeah, we need solution. The real solution to these problems, not politics of tribalism, politics of ethnicity. Those ones won't help us now. Yeah, that's my point.
You don't have a point or anything to say about the fate of opposition in the country?
Opposition, if they come up well with their manifesto, of which to some extent it is true, they are so much economical with the manifestos, if I may say that. But I think they should be clear on what they want to do as a country, because as it stands now, they have the support of the country, of the people of the country. If they cojoin with the other faction of ODM, of Linda Mwananchi, I think they can liberate the country. And I'm seeing they are going towards the right trajectory, if I may say. But there will be wrangles, as it has been in the past days.
How can you put being economical with manifesto and they're heading in the right way in the same sentence? Those are two different things. If you don't have manifesto, that means you're going in the wrong direction.
The reason why I'm saying that, actually, it is surprising, the politics that it's being experienced this time round. It's kind of different, because you see, people are supporting the faction of Sifuna part. Okay, they command a bigger population of the supporters, and if they join with the DCP, the United Opposition, they have the people. I can't deny that fact. They have the people. But again, to me, they are not that much convincing. Yeah. With the manifesto. That's my point. I can
read that they're not. Ojua, Bobby is saying that you guys are not that convincing. So what do you think of the fate of opposition?
Yes.
First of all, the opposition does not require so much convincing to the people, because people like the DCP party leader are thriving on ati tunasikiza ground ama tunasikiza wa Kenya. So it's, what are the Kenyans saying? How do we amplify that voice? Someone who is so concerned about bringing people together is someone who is already in government, having the government, and that is the UDA party. Because it is the UDA that is losing ground. And this ground must go somewhere. When Baba left us, unfortunately, just like the way if a big tree falls, birds must scatter. People had to scatter. People had to find new places where they feel comfortable. They listen to people like Mbadi saying that the Odinga family is controlling the party, talking about discontentment. We are having other people saying that the greatest spokesperson in this country is not a better SG for them. And then you go back to their background. That is, even in Kisumu, you hear that Linda Mwananchi is still controlling numbers. This united opposition now needs to really unite. Ile ya ukuelo. Mimi being in DCP was not an original idea, because the party leader of DCP alikuwa na support President Ruto in 2022. I was supporting Baba. Nilikuwa kijana wa Jubilee under the 4th president. But saizi watu wanasema, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Enemy ni mmoja hapa hivi, na wanasema ni Kasongo. Wamemweka majina mingi sana. Wengine wanamuita Gathoko, wengine wanamuita Githenji, depending from unatoka community gani. Umeshika? Na wale ambao wameshindwa kupigana na yeye, they have not united with him. It is they are crying to him, tunataka power, tunataka power. You are there in proximity to power, but you still feel you don't have it. The united opposition inafaa kuacha kuwa na mkono gamu sasa. Ukikosa kuwa na mkono gamu, utaachilia pesa kama uko nazo. People like myself, tuna drive wave na movement without sponsors, yet tumejialign na parties. What if those parties could fund such voices to amplify their voices at the community level? Tungekuwa mbele sana. I was with my brother Bobby in KM. Yeye ni student leader wa KU. Akwapo hivyo anakula lunch na anasema, are these people rallying behind a youth like myself? Na anabaki akijiuliza, mbona basi mimi kijana siwezi support kijana mwenzangu? In that call ya youth for youth, inamaanisha mimi nikiwa kijana wa DCP, I can meet vijana wa Jubilee na tupange vile ambavyo tutafanya mambo. I can meet vijana wa Wiper, I can meet vijana wa Linda Mwananchi, kwa sababu we are supposed to be united. We are talking about an election that is 1 year away. It will be 1 year away. So today we are supposed to unite and use that voice of unity to have change today. That total shutdown, mwisho si mafuta yataanguka bei. If we united on all other things, leo hii tuseme tunaungana na walimu ambao wanagoma kwa sababu pesa hazifiki shuleni, hakutakuwa na education na education itachange. Kesho hiyo ingine tuamke tuseme leo tuna support nani? KMPDU, madaktari wanasema wameumia, tutokee tuwa support. We are supposed to unite. Kitambo ilikuwa watu wakiona mgomo wanasema hawa ni vijana wa Gen Z, wachana na wao. Lakini leo tunalia sote. It is wazee ndani ya 4NTE, wazee ndani ya Mashpoa, wazee ndani ya Rokagina, Kukena na kina Ekana coach wanasema sote tuungane na tuambie dunia that vijana wa Kenya wamekuwa wakiongea ukweli, na huo ukweli sasa ni wakati wa utumie to liberate themselves.
Now, with the opposition, what's the point of uniting if there is no agenda in place? Because
we all have agendas. Ata the government iko na agenda.
What's the opposition's agenda? Because I've only had one term and Ruto must go. What's the agenda to unite the opposition?
The agenda to unite the opposition is people who are in opposition to talk to their people and tell them to open their eyes and see. I've not been in any table ati sasa ndio hawa united opposition wameshikana. But najielewa mimi niko kwa opposition. Na nikipatana na Bobby, agenda yangu moja, ndakuwa nikimuuliza, wewe agenda yako ni gani? If you listen to all of us about manifesto, if you listen to all of us, there is something kila mtu anataka. Kuna mtu anataka better access ya healthcare, kuna mtu anataka affordable education, kuna mtu anataka tu kukuwe na infrastructure. Na hizi ni vitu nimekuwa nikisikia kutoka kwa community. Hawa watu wote kuunite kwao ni, wewe leta tu idea zako hapa hivi, mimi nilete zangu, tutaziunganisha kule mwisho. Kizingizio cha vitu zisifanyike saa hizi ni gani? Juu tuko na katiba really. Hata hiyo manifesto yako ukitengenezea haifai kupita katiba really. Tuko hapa hivi juu katiba haifuatwi. Hii katiba ingekuwa inafuatwa, we don't even really need manifesto. Tulizitengeneza na tukasema vitu tunataka, na tukasema hizo vitu zote tunazioanisha ndani ya katiba. Mwaka 2020 bado sisi vijana tukiwa watu wadogo. Hii kona hata saizi mimi nikikwambia nataka kutengeneza education, nitakwambia nataka kutengeneza education in accordance to article 53 yenye ina guarantee kila mtoto hii inchi right to free, compulsory and basic education. Wewe sasa mwingine anaye kuja kuambia nataka kuleta education, utasema hapana, yeye ataleta. Really mtu hata tunafaa kuangalia sana ni mwenye anasema nitafuata katiba. Juu hiyo ndio kitu mimi hiyo ndio kitu inanipa power mimi.
Now, Bobby,
Gachagua
has been accused of being a bully, this is in public domain. Gachagua accused of being a bully. Do you think the opposition will survive with Gachagua in place? Considering there are those who are saying that Gachagua is tribalist, he's a bully, so we cannot get in bed with him. So that means for the ODM people who are supporting Linda Mwananchi, if that faction joins hands with Gachagua, they might probably be like, no. We are good people, you're good people, you had the right cause, but because you've joined a bully, we are not going to do that. And they move away. And also, the fact that Gachagua is intending to run, that means with the thought of controlling most votes, that means more power, right? Yep. So with that in mind, would opposition survive all these people together?
Okay, I've really thought about that. You know, as it stands, that is how Kenyans are happy on how Gachagua is castigating the government, but they are not happy with Gachagua being the president. The majority, let me talk about that. I know my brother is here, he's your party leader. So that is what is happening. And as you have said, there is a way in which he actually is taking, let me say, taking the show in the opposition there. He boasts with the numbers in the mountain region. And that really, I think, in an honest opinion, will have a great effect in the opposition. It will really shake the opposition, because we know the kind of a person Gachagua is. He is somebody who I may call him a go-getter, and is somebody who when he is decided on something, he will actually go for it. And when you see people like Kalonzo Musyoka, he's somebody who has stood with the Baba for so long time, and he's somebody we really put him forward in the opposition. There is a way we are staging him actually to be the flag bearer of the opposition party. And you see also Gachagua is there, and also very, very determined, has the number, has he has the what we call economic muscles, and he has supporters, and his party has been rising, contemporaneously rising in popularity. So this will actually shake the opposition, and this really needs for a proper scrutinization in the opposition. They talk, they agree, but if that's going to be the way I must vie, I also must vie, it will really be tough for them.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I hope they all vie and not on a two-horseman race. I think they all get to the ballot. There, Kenyans will be able to decide, this is the person I want, without, being inclined to, we are opposition.
But I hope they don't all get to the ballot. I hope they don't all get to the ballot. I am hoping that combination of united opposition and Linda Mwananchi and everyone else who is seeking for inclusive, accountable and sustainable leadership will rally behind people like Edwin Sifuna.
All right. Now that brings us to the end of our show this morning. I know if I ask you for final remarks, we'll extend beyond time. So that brings us to the end of our discussion right here in the morning. And you should also know that there is also another person who has declared that he will be running for presidency, and that is Jimmy Wanjigi. Truthfully speaking, that man might get my vote more than Gachagua would get my vote.
We are united. That is what is called listening.
All right. You have your own opinion. You can always share with us what you think, who will make the best president. Will the united opposition survive? And as we bring this to an end, allow me to read a few feedbacks from those who are following us online. We have Amakobe Bryson saying, watching live from Kenyatta Market. Thank you so much. We have Mamumadu saying, this host Waleo is very cute. All right, we have Grace saying tuned in. We have Kelvin saying, with all due respect. Actually, he has it on hashtag with all due respect. And saying locked in for Biashara Tuesday. We so mean business at Matete. And we have Kefa saying that Nyamira Boys are alumni. We have Mamu also saying the mental health advocate is very cute and African. We have Amako saying really enjoying, and we have Jua Sasa saying with all due respect. So with all due respect, allow me to end this show on that note. Until next time, stay tuned for more updates right here on Kenyatta University Television. My name is Anyango Sylvia. Have a good day.